Light the sky with sacred flame. Wash the world and burn the name. We rise through ashes, rise through pain. Each age reborn through fire and rain.
Yeah. The clock strikes 138, it's written in the code. A cosmic metronome on a loop divine road. Phoenix flies, fire floods the earth. Civilizations fall just before their rebirth. Atlantis drowned, Terraria buried deep, while cathedrals sing secrets we're forbidden to keep. Mud fly myths, nah, that's suppressed fact. Truth coded in ruins where the timeline's cracked. Anuna watching from caverns below, pulling strings and cycles they already know. Simulation glitches with a solar scream. Reality rewinds like a lucid dream.
Light the sky with sacred flame. Wash the world and burn the name. We rise through ashes, rise through pain. Each age reborn through fire and rain. What was lost will call us home. Through shifting stars and shattered stone.
Protocol 1388.
It speaks in signs to those who walk beyond the line.
Listen, every monument's a map, every steeple's a gate, aligning Earth's grid to the cycles of fate. Plasma storms crack the dome and break time, revealing the code in geometry's rhyme. The vapor canopy once veiled the stars when giants and gods walked under Mars. Now we sleep in the ruins of a golden dawn, waiting for the fire to reset what's wrong. At least repop from caverns of chrome, while the meek inherit a broken home. But knowledge survives in crystalline veins, and we are the ones who remember the flames.
They buried the truth beneath soot and stone, but you are the echo that won't be erased. You are the ember that survives the storm. You are the key, the seed, the spark. Light the sky with sacred flame. Wash the world and burn the name. We rise through ashes, rise through pain. Each age reborn through fire and rain. Beyond Tertiaria, beyond the flood, we carry memory in flesh and blood. Protocol 1388, it calls our kind to break the script and free the mind.
Well, it's not my type of music, but I have to say that it's pretty damn good. I do believe that some of you would have a much lower opinion of me if you really knew what I jam to. All right. So I do listen to country music when I'm working. I listen to classic rock anytime I'm driving. It's easy to listen to. But when I'm in my mood and when I'm trying to get things done and I'm listening, yeah, I'm a metalhead, and I always have been. Yeah. Some of you rockers out there know what I'm talking about. Most of you only think you know what I'm talking about. I'm eating these crackers because this is late night with Archaix. We break the rules. Some of y'all are coming on the screen with me. I'm eating these crackers. I've been busy. We have over 1,200 people on the new platform. And for those of you who are a little confused, because you've heard about Archaix TV, and Archaix TV was nothing but videos, and people were able to engage in the comment sections underneath the videos. But that's not what I was looking for. And I'm really glad that platform went offline. It wasn't just Archaix TV. Everything on Player went offline. And I'm glad it's not on the internet anymore. Good riddance. But it also gave me some time to do some deep searching, because I had to look deep. I had to look at a lot of different platforms. And what I found a platform that's basically invisible. It's all the individual groups that use this platform are pretty much invisible to the public. And even once you're on the platform, you don't really know who else is here. And it was drawn to my attention that many Fortune 500 companies use this platform because they're international and they want their employees in different countries all over the world and in different time zones to be able to engage. And so I said, well, hell, if Fortune 500 companies are using this, man, let me look into it. It was a little expensive, I'm not going to lie, but you know what? It was worth it, because there's 1,200 happy customers right now who realize that everything they do on Facebook, everything they do on Twitter, everything they do on Instagram, everything they do on X, Telegram, Facebook, all of them, it's all wrapped into one. Yeah, the Archaix underground platform lets you do all that. And we have all kinds of, even some old style chat rooms. You know, you remember when the internet was first getting famous, everybody was in those chat rooms. I know, because I was in prison in those chat rooms on an illegal cell phone many times. I even got caught several times. Texas even gave me 7 years for getting. So yeah, I know. I remember those days. Some of you may have been in a chat room back in 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and may have been talking to me and didn't even know it. Yeah, man. So, Archaix TV is fantastic. Launched 36 hours ago, and we already have over 1,200 people. And man, people are posting everything. They're posting their everything that they haven't really been freely able to post in a lot of different places, man. We're doing it all. It's an errant community. It's personal. People are hooking up. Everybody's asking each other, where are you from? What's going on? People are posting, hey, I'm in Houston. Hey, I'm in Cincinnati. I'm over here in such and such France. I'm in New Zealand. And people are hooking up, man. There are already tens of thousands of posts and comments, and just in 36 hours, it has blown up. So I'm really happy about that. I'm happy that I made the right choice and I found a platform that allows us to do all these things. In fact, my Twitter today was a ghost town because all the activity was going on in underground. Who said that? I gotta scroll back up. That was Face Diaper. It's Aaron's Tinder. Well, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. When you come over and hang with me, man. You need to come on back to Texas, Wit. I'm telling you now, I've got new buildings, I got new decking, I got a whole cooking deck now. You wouldn't even recognize the place anymore. Since last time you were here, I have been engaged in projects. And this peanut butter and crackers is the shit. So, if those of you have been paying attention, 20 minutes before this video started, I posted the live. We're going live with Mark Passio at 2 p.m. on Friday, 2 p.m. Texas time. I've been all over his channel, listening as I'm doing woodwork today, and I'm listening to some of his videos, and I didn't know anything about him. You guys have asked me about him many times. I've never heard anything about him. I just know his name is very popular with you. So I'm pretty excited about having him on the channel. Seems like a guy I could drink a beer with. I listened to 2 presentations, and I was like, you know what? This might be a pretty cool conversation. He's going to have to lead the way because I'm really not really familiar with his material, but that's why I'm inviting so many people to the channel. You know, educate us. What are you about? Where are you coming from? What are you about? Where are you headed? That's all we want to know. So, it's not just Mark Passio. Right after him is Chuck Swindoll. Chuck Swindoll Jr. He and I have exchanged messages on Twitter. Let's see. Frank Jacobs coming on the channel pretty fast. Mark Devon. Mark Devon's coming on the channel. Jay Wiedner. Hey, many of you know his name. I've been excited about talking about him only because I know he's out of this whole list. He's the one I know I'm familiar with the most. Founder of Gaia. So, yeah. So, Sabrina Wallace. She's got like 2 or 3 weeks of other things that are occupying her attention. But yeah, she's already committed and been in communication with Big John and some other Archaix moderators. I'll reach out to an email pretty soon. Let's see. Oh, yes, Jennifer Bain. Jennifer, right now it's a 7-day free trial. Nobody pays anything right now unless you just want to. Nobody has to pay anything. You can go to Archaix Underground for 7 days and go explore it, see what we're doing. Because I'm telling you now, it's going to blow up. Once other people in the field actually realize that we just created our own social media, there's going to be more and more people joining from other communities, and they're more than welcome. But I'm going to tell you now, I've never, not even on archaix.com, have I been posting my research like I did on Archaix Underground. People in Underground, they know you can go into my Great Pyramid section, and you're going to see power posts all about all my Great Pyramid research in one section. So I'm about to open up a whole nother one now. We have one for night. We have a whole space where not just my data, but other people's discoveries too. Just 1902, just the year 1902, all the data showing it was a truly anomalous year. I'm also going to open up a new space for my Phoenix research because it needs to be in one spot. So anyway, Rupert Sheldrake did return the email, and he cordially kind of refused. He just said, "Hey man, he says I am overbooked for the next 6 months." Now I don't know, you just don't know. Maybe he just doesn't want to come on Archaix. I don't know. Maybe he really is overbooked for 6 months. I don't know. I'm just letting you guys know. Rupert Sheldrake did dignify us with a response. Now, Greg Braden, David Icke, we reached out to them, multiple emails for both of them. We haven't heard anything yet. That doesn't mean we won't. Both of those guys are busy. That's understood. But still waiting to hear back from Greg Braden, David Icke, and a whole host of other people. Not just those two, but a lot of other people too we're waiting to hear back from. I think that's it. I don't really have any other announcements other than I do believe Sheldrake is buddies with Hancock, huh? Interesting. Oh man. Don't get me wired up. Nobody is exempt nobody is exempt in that little circle. That ancient apocalypse, ancient alien circle. There ain't nobody exempt. All you got to do is twist the dagger at me a little bit. Man, peanut butter and crackers is so real. So if you want to come on, ask questions, or if you want to share something, if you just want to chat and kick it and you have no idea at all what you want to say, I don't care. I have a special email, archaixlive@gmail.com. So, will my moderators please put that in the chat? archaixlive@gmail.com. I'm going to have to apologize to some of you because evidently somebody had got the idea. A lot of you have got the idea that I answer that email. I do not. I haven't looked at it since the last live video where we pulled people on the channel. It's been, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. So I had I forgot to answer that question. Flat Earth Zoomer. Yeah, Flat Earth Zoomer. I forgot to answer the dude's question. I went on a tangent. 7 days for free. You can go straight in there to Archaix Underground. Check everything out for 7 days. At the end of the 7 days, it's going to give you 2 alternatives. You can either pay $5.52 a month, or you can pay $192 for lifetime. I don't even know what that. I don't even know what that means. What is 192? I'm going to tell you real quick what that means. Okay. So $192 is 34 months. It's actually you're paying for 34 months, but if you pay the $192, it's actually lifetime. It's not going to be 34 months. It's the price of 34 months, but 192 is yeah, it ain't going nowhere. Archaix Underground's not going anywhere. We got 15 years till full infrastructure collapse anyway. Joey Bustamante said the same thing. 15 years. I would love to have Max Egan on my channel. I would. But you already know, the man has been hounded by the establishment and demonized. I have to protect the integrity of my ability to communicate with my community. That's why I tone things down on YouTube. I don't really go all the way off. Now, I am going to be going live from Archaix Underground. It's one of the perks of the deal, and I may have Max Egan come live and just chat because he's a personal friend of mine, and yeah, I like to hear what he has to say. We can go live on Underground, and Max can join me there. So since YouTube wants to keep being real restrictive, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about Alex Jones. I don't know, man. The dude is revealing some real shit sometimes, man. But then again, he's just like Whitney Webb. She reveals some real stuff. But man, it becomes so obvious. Like Joe Rogan reveals some real stuff, but it just becomes so obvious, man. I said, man, I can't ignore the fact that you sold out. I know you sold out because there's certain people you'll never mention. That's it. That's all I got to hear. That's all I got to hear. So, okay, shoot, you obviously got a price. Somebody paid you big bucks. Nobody's ever paid me big bucks ever. So I'm just, you know what? I'll speak my mind. Yeah, man, it's become the it's sad to say now in today's society, it's become the litmus test. It's like, damn. It's like, if you're really, really awake, you automatically know who's shilling by who they don't mention. It's as simple as that. That's the world we live in now. I mean, a lot of people ask me in emails, they ask me online, they ask me in Q&A, say, man, Jason, how come they let you talk? You release the Tiny Hats videos. You release all these different things, man. You talk about it. You know what? You have to understand too, man, my message is spiritual. I'm always telling you, man, we live in a simulacrum. If you think this shit's real, the media is real, and all these people, now they're all actors. All these politicians, all these talking heads, all these people in the news, they all are straight out of actors guilds. It's deeper than that too. Even these writers. You think Graham Hancock came out of the London School of Economics? You think Graham Hancock came out and instantly became an editor for one of the most prestigious CIA magazines in the world, The Economist? He graduates and all of a sudden he's an editor in The Economist. No, man. I tell you guys all the time, these people are born into these positions. That's why when he wrote this grifting ass book, Fingerprints of the Gods, which is almost all BS, can easily be shown to be BS, and started a movement full of many other authors who are all rehashing the same BS, and it all falls apart under scrutiny. But the man came out of being an editor for The Economist and wrote Fingerprints of the Gods, having no research background whatsoever in human antiquities, no education whatsoever in archaeology, nothing. He knows nothing. That's why he won't debate. And then when I go to reading more and more about Mr. Hancock, I think it was Michael Tessarion that kind of dropped the ball on this, and I read some articles by Mr. Tessarion, and it led me into a little old rabbit hole, and I started reading. I'm like, oh my God. Graham Hancock has never had a problem admitting that he did not write those books. He has said it over and over and over that all this material was put together by his research team, research assistants. And I've been very critical of him over and over because, I really don't care what people say. I pay attention to what they're not talking about. I like to employ the personal philosophy of Lyle Jacobson, who wrote The Discovery of Nothing. He said there's nothing to fill without a previous empty. You have to really analyze what somebody is saying. And when they're done, when they're finished with their presentation or they're done with their book and you process what it is that you just absorbed, it's really easy to see basically the trajectory of a person's mind by what they don't mention when they should have mentioned. And when I'm talking about Graham Hancock, I'm talking about Immanuel Velikovsky, Hans Bellamy, Harold T. Wilkins. And I'm talking about the greats. Charles Ford, man. Graham Hancock's not going to mention any of these men because the research of these men, like Thor Heyerdahl, Professor L.A. Waddell, these are the intellectual giants who put the history of the world together 100 years ago, before Graham Hancock ever decided, or his handlers decided, you know what, we're going to use you to put out all this stuff right here. Yeah, man. Total hijack of the truther community with a bogus 10,000 year Atlantis, 10,000 year younger Dryas impact theory, 10,000 year civilization X theory in the Ice Age. Every bit of it is total crap. Every bit of it. So crazy. Michael Tessarion, yeah, we're going to reach out to him. He's welcome to come on the channel anytime. Anytime. It's just, I don't know who all, because Michael Tessarion is on the list, but I don't know how far down the list. The list wasn't prioritized. It was just as we took the names out of the chat. So I don't know who's been contacted and who hasn't. Big John, if you're listening right now, get on it right now. Mr. Tessarion is priority. That's right, Otto. The uniformitarian model must be pushed because space has to be real, or a whole bunch of their shit just falls apart. You gotta understand, the motive is money. The motive is absolutely money. Absolutely money. It's a tax. It's a tax. Just like IRS, it's a tax. Yeah, NASA's a tax. NASA gets billions every year for what? Some CGI pictures and a golf cart wrapped in tinfoil at a museum exit? It's crazy. Nah, NASA's a huge intelligence apparatus. That's all it is. I know Arthur, 2 or 3 of the names are repeated. That's only because it was me copying and pasting names real fast. Yeah, man. So even in Archaix Underground, we got our lifestyles of the grifting and infamous. Yeah, man. We got all kinds. Man, Archaix Underground is so badass. It is so badass. I was not anticipating how awesome. I knew it was gonna be high participation, but I didn't know it was gonna be this. Not this fast. Man, so many people have been posting some amazing stuff. We even have a health and wellness section where you post memes about different things, man, to educate people on the body and what minerals and what vegetables do what. And I was like, man, I was in there today, like, man, I'm learning all kinds of stuff. Memes are the best way. Real quick absorption of data. Christina the Astonishing, how you doing? So moderators put the link so people can come on the channel. archaixlive@gmail.com. And I apologize to some of you. Hey, Johara, I apologize to some of you who sent me emails because I looked in there today after I posted the Mark Passio live video. It's on YouTube now. For Friday, I opened up the live email because I was going to use it tonight. And I was like, my God, there's an 80 to 150 emails in here that's never been answered. But I never promised to answer any emails in this. This was only for the live videos. But I guess a bunch of y'all took that as the email I was using because, man, I got all kinds of Archaix errant ad, and people telling me and sending me PDFs. I'm going to have to spend tomorrow going through that whole email, answer all those because I didn't know those emails were there. Pamela Swan, I saw you lurking around in the underground today. All right. Yeah, man. All right, let me look at this. Lacey, are you in there? Lacey, you made a show in yet? Yep, I was lost underground. Yep, it's a lot in there. It was a few people got discouraged because they didn't know how to deactivate their settings. It's really easy, and a few people got frustrated because when you first sign up for underground, oh yeah, there is an app. I'm going to activate it. But yeah, the platform actually allows me to develop an Archaix underground app. Oh, the developers have already been in contact with me about it. They're very excited about having the Archaix community come to their platform. So, yeah, I'm already in communication with them on an actual app. Yeah, I don't know of any other communities doing this. Do you guys know of any? I don't think Gaia does it. I don't think Ancient Aliens has anything like this. I mean, this is a platform. You do everything in here. There's all full chat rooms and forums and video archives, audio file, all the Archaix videos. You can listen to them as audio files. Man, I don't know. Are there any other? Is Archaix the first one to do a full platform like this? I didn't even think about that till just now. Because man, we know we welcome everybody. You ain't gonna have to be technically an errant following Archaix research. We got people in there in the errants paranormal section. I couldn't believe that. I didn't think that was gonna be that popular, but errants paranormal, man, and errants personals. People in there doing their hobbies and their crafts and their services and their businesses, and it's like, man, this is blowing up. It's blowing up. So yeah, it's Crystal. I don't think I saw you in there yet either. Christina the Astonishing, you need to send me an email. Christina. For those of you who don't know, Christina the Astonishing did my intro for the Archaix movie. I did an Archaix movie. I spent a lot of money on toys. I spent a lot of money on models and all kinds of terrain stuff, and I did a miniature movie explaining exactly how the pre-flood world unfolded. Sure did. A lot of you don't know that. A lot of you new to my channel don't even know that. It's on my channel, the Archaix movie. Gaia has an app. What is it? A spam app? I'm talking about. I understand they have an app, but is it a platform? Yeah, they're trustworthy. Somebody says the platform provider. Yeah, this platform actually services a lot of Fortune 500 companies. They have employees that they network with activities and all kinds of things internationally. It's like a social media for independent companies, huge companies, and they use this platform. So it has a lot of security. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the security we went through activating this platform. But man, it's so badass. Everything is so user friendly. It's all easy to find everything. Anyway, I'm not. We've talked too much about Archaix. Archaix Underground is taking care of itself. I'm just calling a few people out in here that I haven't seen in there. And if you have a problem getting in there at all, email me immediately. I'll get you in. Yeah, they're crafted personalities, Daryl. Yeah, Graham Hancock's a total. Graham Hancock is smart. He knows. He had better not ever get caught on film debating me. He knows this, and I'm not saying it. And when I say these things, a lot of people misinterpret it as egoic. It's not egoic. It's just a matter of fact. Graham Hancock's not a historian. He's not an archaeologist. He's not an anthropologist. He's not a chronologist, and he just doesn't have near the amount of data in his head that I can draw. I can draw from the field. You guys have seen me do it in my freestyles. I says I know my material, and Graham Hancock does not, and you can't prove a negative anyway. And what I mean is his whole entire theory just falls apart with just a little bit of intelligent scrutiny. So he's not going to get caught dead at all in a debate situation with me. The whole debate with that dude Dibble or Dribble, whatever his name, the archaeologist, that whole thing is actually fraudulent. It was completely staged and fraudulent. The reason I say that is because 100% of Graham Hancock's theory relies on the uniformitarian model of history. Graham Hancock's never deviated from uniformitarianism. Now, Dibble is educated in uniformitarianism. So we have two individuals that believe the exact same false narratives about history, quibbling over small insignificant details about human civilization development. Exactly when it happened. It's so dumb. So dumb. This guy triggered me talking about Graham Hancock again. I got to get my mind off of so J Ray, no one has an open platform. Has Archaix actually the first one? Because the Gaia app, from what I understand from the Gaia app, it's literally just an app that tells you all the different directions you can go to spend more money, to go sign up for this. Here's tickets for this. That's not you're not going to find any of that. There's not one thing for sale on Archaix Underground. Nothing. Yeah, once you go on Archaix Underground, all that data, all that information, all that interaction, errants, personals, all the different chat rooms people get or have, that's all. There's no charge except for the membership, $5.52 a month. That's it. Yeah. You want to buy stuff from Archaix? Yeah, you can go to archaix.com. You can click on the links in my description box. I'm not trying to sit here and force stuff down. Yeah, screw all that. So I'm really curious. if Archaix has pushed the envelope once again. Yeah, the notifications. Oh, you're getting all these emails from Archaix Underground when people post and all that. It's real simple. You go into your settings, you go into notifications, and you deactivate everything. And then you don't do what several people did earlier today who got frustrated. They didn't scroll down to the bottom of notifications because there's a red button that says save changes. If you don't hit that save changes, all the little checks you just took off the boxes don't mean anything. And that's what several people did. And they kept getting email notifications thinking that the platform was screwing them over. And it wasn't. It wasn't, because those who did it right and scrolled all the way down didn't get any more email notifications. Sometimes it's baby steps. You got to talk to people like taking baby steps. All right. Let's see. Let me go ahead. Carly. Okay, that's a trading platform. Yeah, we don't do anything like that. We're just all kicking it. We're not doing anything any different than a Fortune 500 company with tens of thousands of employees worldwide does. They have their own little social medias. They have their own little like social medias for like AT&T or whatever, and they all get together like Halliburton, and they have these little private little platforms that host them. That's all we did. I wonder why somebody hasn't started a community like this. It doesn't even make any sense. Why wouldn't you? I guess they're just happy with Discord or Telegram. Or I don't want to do all. You don't have a lot of freedom in Discord and Telegram and all that. Not compared to Archaix Underground. You do all kinds of things in there. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this email now. Yeah, I'm not impressed with Discord. Thank you, One Tux. What time is it over there? What time is it in New Zealand right now? I know you guys like these late videos. Isn't it like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., or 7 a.m. over there? It's hard to tell. I mean, X was good for a while, guys, until we peep the play. You peep the play. X is just taking notes. X has algorithms. Twitter has algorithms attached to it where all the most popular accounts are Jewish. Listen, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to tell you the truth. All the accounts that have multiple millions of views, the highest activity, all the accounts, I see them all the time. Max Egan's is always spitboxing with them. All those accounts are Jewish on X, the biggest accounts, and some of them they're goading you. They're specifically goading you because when you read the description boxes, it'll say something like "proud Zionist." Also, there's some of them with like a 1.5 million followers. Come on, man, there ain't that many people interested in what you got to say. I've been reading some of the comments, man. But dude calls himself a Nazi hunter. Others brag about hunting anti-Semitism online. It's like, what is this, man? What is this? It's crazy, man. Twitter's not even fun for me anymore, especially with all these thieves out there. I'm gonna start naming some of them, but I mean, just these guys that they lift material from each other like it's nothing. I mean, these guys ain't making these things up on you. You had to get the material from somewhere. So yeah, it's just no one's citing the sources. It's not. I'm not saying not everybody, but most of them. It just blows my mind that some of these guys have 200, 300,000 deals. Like, it's like, dude, you're vacuous. You're doing nothing but engagement farming. The worst posts in the world, the worst ones, are when somebody shows you a picture or a little video deal and then asks you, man, what do you see here? It's engagement farming. There may not even be anything there. You're just wasting your time. It's just total, absolute engagement farming. So it's Twitter's getting on my nerves lately. I posted a lot of stuff on Twitter, but I've already taken it all off. Every single post I've ever done on Twitter, I have in backup files. So, I mean, all my Christian stuff, all my notes on Christianity, the Phoenix. I've already backed up all that stuff because you know what, man, I might just say F Twitter. I might use it just to do some announcements and all that. But you know what? It's getting to the point where I mean, I don't even care, man. It's Twitter. Twitter's nothing but harvesting lists of all those that are not approved by the Jewish establishment. As simple as that. There ain't no way to bite your tongue about it no more. There's no way not to say the truth. It's gotten to the point so bad on social media. It's gotten to the point on Facebook, on Twitter, on Telegram, on Discord, on YouTube. It's gotten so bad now that when people are listening to you as a content creator, if you don't every once in a while mention something the Jews have implicated themselves in somewhere, then the people that are listening to you automatically think you're a shill sold out to the system. That's how bad it's gotten. That's not my fault. I'm just saying that's how bad it's gotten. If you don't throw something out there every once in a while, people are going to automatically think you sold out to them because most people have. Most people have. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. Social media has gotten toxic. It's gotten terrible. And I'm just telling you, you're going to see me more and more engaging daily in Archaix Underground because that's our safe haven. That's where we can go. And you know what? The establishment loves that type of shit. They love it when free thinkers all get together for two reasons. One, the more they engage with each other, the less they're engaging with those who are not awake. The other reason is they know who you are. I don't care. I don't care. My message from the very beginning, man, is you know what, man? Life is effed. This world is a construct. We're just passing through it. Do not engage. That's been my message from the beginning. So my message isn't going to change just because I become more and more and more aware of who the major players are and what they're doing and how they basically screwing us over everywhere, in every echelon of life. From real estate to what we eat, our foods, to the things are spraying in the sky. You know what? Just do not engage. I mean, the only way we're ever going to survive this is spiritually. That's the only way to survive this is spiritually. And because this is spiritual warfare and not actual warfare, then that means we can always draw from ourselves more than we contain. As long as we know that we're tapped into source, then we're going to be okay, because the highly individualized, informed field insulates itself and builds a world for itself no matter what the outside world of the collective is going through. So you're not hearing this from somebody who's just theoretically bouncing some ideas. You're talking to somebody who at 17 years old went to maximum security and survived 26 years in prison. You haven't any idea how many fights I've had. Yeah, I've had a lot. A lot of accidents too. Talking about heavy equipment, tools. Had a motorcycle accident when I got out. I was 8 years old. I fell off a 3-story house. I'm just saying, you know what? This is all spiritual, every bit of it. And the only reason I'm still alive to talk to you today is because most of my life I have been regarding everything around me as some type of spiritual conflict. Physical world has never really meant that much to me. It was one of my survival coping mechanisms in prison. When I realized, man, I'm surrounded by a bunch of guys these dudes ain't bad. These dudes ain't tough. These dudes aren't killers. These dudes are destitute, lost everything, know they've made terrible decisions, ended up in prison, and they're sad and they're fucking lonely. That's what I'm surrounded with. I'm not surrounded with no Hollywood-style prison killers, even though I was on maximum security. And yeah, there were some dudes that stabbed other guys. And yeah, I've seen guys thrown off 3-row. And yeah, but these are ancillary to my experiences. My experiences was I felt like I was always protected everywhere I went, even in the darkest times in maximum security and closed custody. I always felt like, man, Oversoul, always looking out for me. I always felt charmed. It's weird because I've never had a reason to feel that way. But man, I used to get into it with guys all the time, man. I think I've told this story before. I used to quote Bible verses when I was fighting. In the middle of a fight, I don't care. I'll get hit in the mouth. My fist might make me stutter. I might skip a verse or whatever. But yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And man, when a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. And speak not into the ears of a fool. He will despise the wisdom of your words. I would just quote Bible verse after Bible verse, and I would punch back. And however hard somebody hit me, I tried to hit them harder. And I used to treat every single individual I came into contact with as Goliath. Because if you were Goliath, that meant I was David. And if I'm David, that means I'm going to overcome here. You're not going to overcome this. You might win this fight, but tomorrow I'm gonna come back more powerful. This is the attitude I had. I used to trip guys out because, man, I'd be in the middle of a fight. I'm not trying to breathe. I'm not trying to sit here and keep quiet. I'm not trying to concentrate on the fight itself. I'm just trading blows and quoting Bible verses at the exact same time. And I got no backup in me. I used to do that, and this peace and power would take over me. And after a while, guys just got it. It's, damn, man, that dude's glutton for punishment. You can't even hurt that guy. He don't even feel it. And I got this attitude. I had this attitude. You know what? Everywhere I go in this prison, you better get out of my way, because I was very polite to everyone. I was always respectful. Yeah, I didn't walk around with a chip on my shoulder and all that in prison. Man, I was very, very respectful to people. So I always had this moral I was just morally indignant when somebody was disrespectful or somebody deal. I just felt like, oh no, man, I didn't do anything to earn that. And I would just build this attitude. Next thing you know, we're going to catch that paper. Next thing I know, we were fighting. And I always had something to prove too. I always had something to prove because I was so young when I went in. So But anyway, oh wow, I don't even know why I started talking about that. I need to look in this email, see who wants to come join me on screen. Let's see here. There we go. I need to separate. I like these late night dives. When we started this, we did 2 of them back to back a couple weeks ago. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, you know what? I need to get my invite link. Hold on. All right, I'm dropping invite links into your emails. If you emailed me, I'm dropping you an invite link right now. All you gotta do is click onto it, and you'll pop up in my studio, and then people will see you on the screen. Let's see. All right, let's see. All right, that's 4 of you now. Y'all give me a minute. I got about 12 people send this link to. All right. Stanford Howard. That's a very noble name. Just sent you a deal. Hey, Archaix Live. That's everybody. Archaix Live at gmail.com. If you want to come on screen, you want to kick it, you want to talk. You don't have to ask a question. Yeah, you don't have to ask a question. You can come on here and just chat. What you want to talk about? Who knows? You might trigger me into some exceptional tangent. Never know. All right, so I'm waiting on people to show up. So far, nobody's popped in. I thought it was 12, but these are emails from the other day. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only sent 7. I've only sent 7 links out. Anybody wants to join me on the screen? Archaixlive at gmail.com. And come on in. Damn, did I scare everybody off? Polyester, Jason, will Danny come back to teach about herbal stuff on the new platform? I hope she does. A matter of fact, I know Big John talked to her recently and sent her a message saying that I told her I'm about to. I told her that I'm about, hey, Silver Sage, that I had conveyed through Big John that to tell her that I'm starting a new platform, and maybe it took too long because like a month ago or so. But I would like Danny of the Unfuckers to come in there. Absolutely, because we have a whole health and wellness section that her and Dr. Corey Stern would be fantastic in. There's already people posting some things in there, but this is it's a chat room that where you can share all these memes and recipes and all this stuff. It would be excellent for Danny, Dr. Corey Stern, and a bunch of the old guard that used to come on here a lot. Oh, we got some people joining in already. They're popping in. People are popping in. I'm still sending links out too because people are popping on my email too. All right. Let's see what's going on here. I don't know what happened to Errant Protocol, but oh, you need to connect Errant Protocol. You need to connect your mic and cam. You have to do that in your settings because it won't let me click onto you right now. I can't see you, Nolan, but I can probably hear you.
Archaix.
I can hear you. I don't know, man. You're not coming through, bro. You're not. Oh, try to say something.
Yes, Archaix. I have something important to talk about you. You probably are the greatest YouTuber on earth. You are the greatest YouTuber on earth.
I don't think anybody can understand you. You're not coming through clear. Okay, he left. That wasn't me. I didn't do anything. He just left. Try to come back. Try to come back in. Hey, Silver Sage. Try to come back in.
Hey.
Maybe you'll have a better connection. How you doing?
How you doing, Jason?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. I've got Jaleesa
good.
and Andy backstage. They just popped in. Where you from, Silver Sage?
I am in Whetstone, Arizona. We're near Sierra Vista.
Okay, I love Arizona. New Mexico's my preference.
I
If
do
I
too.
ever leave Texas, it will be to live in New Mexico.
Oh yeah, New
Look.
Mexico's great.
Yeah, I love the mountains and desert. I would like to buy a mountain that's right next to a desert.
That's cool. I'm here with my family right now, but I just want to say hi, check in with you because during the day when you have your shows, I was pregnant and I came on before I'm Cowgirl in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And my little guy, we had him at home. And so I've been really interested in midwifery and doing a deep dive in that type of holistic journey.
Okay.
But it's real fascinating to find out, how my midwife actually, she passed on about 10 years ago. And so my husband delivered our baby and we just sorry, my train of thought went, but just doing the research about what happened in the past, so with midwifery and how that has been suppressed.
Right.
She died of a sudden heart attack, and I've been looking into that, and there's been people that have just been becoming more unalive in that type of field, especially the midwife. And so we did not have anybody assist us. It was kind of by accident, but everything went fine, and the baby came real quick. And every time we listen to your show, my little one, he just falls asleep.
Right.
He seems real comfortable.
That's awesome.
Listening to your show. So.
Well, I was in 1973. I was born underwater in a bathtub.
That's awesome.
My mother was 16 years old, and she was I was her first. I do have a little sister, and there was a Hispanic doctor that in 1973, he's like the only guy around that knew how to do the sedation births because she was terrified of the pain, and so in the Hispanic community, because that's where we live, real close to a whole Hispanic neighborhood, and they had talked this doctor to come and assist my mom, and he sedated her, had her in the bathtub. She says, I don't remember anything. I just know that I went to sleep, and then I woke up, and the water was all bloody, and you were no longer inside me, and they were holding you, and
wow.
Yeah, I was born in a bathtub, and I didn't get all the shot. I didn't get all those shots a lot of people get when they're born in hospitals. I didn't get any of those. It's I didn't stay there. I was only there 5 years, and then I was adopted by the Brashears family. But by the time I was 5, You know, it's 1978, 79. They weren't even on top of this stuff back then. So I got to go to public school without getting any shots and inoculations and all that stuff. So yeah, I missed all that. I hear a lot of bad about it, but yeah, I kind of missed all that. But
Yeah,
yeah, my
we're
name was
homeschooling
changed,
our.
all that. Say that again.
I said we're homeschooling our 6-year-old,
Right.
and so when you went through that whole series on 1902, I was taking notes because I'm like, you know what, that's the type of history that I want to teach my son, and how you break it down and look at it. He's
Right.
just
Right.
gonna love that, growing up. So we're gonna do some deep dives at the library, and yeah, he started reading when he was 4, and he's really he's excelling at a lot of different things, and then he's got high functioning autism. So I think he'll really enjoy the chronology of
Yeah.
the different numbers
Yeah.
and
I just saw a
stuff.
post in Underground today about remedies for autism. It's in the health and wellness section. I've been in there all day long looking at different stuff.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
I really will.
I'm tired now because I've been at my computer all day. I normally don't stay all day at the computer. I kind of move around, but today's been a little bit different. But
Yeah.
yeah, Silver Sage. It's good talking to you. I got Jaleesa, Andy, and Lewis in the background
Good
here.
talking to you too. Yeah, you take care. Thanks for chatting with me, and I'll catch up with you another time.
Yeah, it's awesome that you're doing the homeschooling deal. It's
When you come to Arizona, I have some spots that I'd like to show you.
all right.
If you ever come through here.
Oh,
We're right
I'll
off of the I-10, so
I'll be heading. Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be going to San Diego again before the end of the year.
yeah, check out the Karchner Caverns. It's really cool.
Okay.
Karchner
All right.
Caverns.
Shoot, I'll
All right,
look into
man.
them.
Take care. Have a good night.
All right, later.
Oh, bye-bye.
All righty. All right, who we got here? I got Andy, Jaleesa, and Lewis back here, and I got more emails just coming in. What's up, Andy? You have to turn your mic on. Or maybe I can turn it on for you.
All right, how can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, you got good audio. I'm jealous.
I got my headphones on. Got my little biscuit headphones on. Made it on the Archaix show. This is
man.
Right on. Seen a bunch of your videos.
Awesome.
Just over the years, seen you really progress. That's incredible. Yeah. So anyway, I just caught on a live right here, and just like, because I don't really catch on the live, so this is pretty cool. So many questions, but I'll just narrow it down to a few because I know you got quite a crowd. One, it's like and I could be looking at like deeper into your earlier videos, which I've looked a little bit, but the humans, they're created by the Anuna. Is that accurate? Through like a genetic biological process of developing us, and then our souls like jump in here from outside the construct. Is that the idea?
Well, it's a little bit simpler than that, because I'm going to tell you right now, you are a descendant of the Anuna. The Anuna were humans. They were humans. It was a whole different epoch. It was a whole different period of time. They're very technologically advanced. I am of the opinion that they understood that we were in a construct, and many of the legends, traditions, the metaphors that have been implanted in the colloquials, the things that we have come to find out about the Tower of Babel story, they literally gave us a bunch of clues as to the type of world we live in. And when I talk about Anuna, I'm literally talking about our ancestors who just lost a technologically advanced infrastructure in a cataclysm, and the human historical record is basically everything after that happened. So they were with us for a while. They had their information. They told us all these fantastic things. A lot of these appeared in the mythological and traditional histories. They organized many of our calendrical systems, but after a period of 200 or 300 years, they're all gone. And it was their sons and their grandsons, and
So were their offspring out of the underworld, essentially? Is that the kind of the idea?
Absolutely. Have you ever seen the Native American? Listen, the closest approximation to the actual real history of our world is found only in the Americas. You're not going to find it in Asia. You're not going to find it in Europe. You're not going to find. For some reason, the Native American cultures have really, really preserved the traditions of the pre-flood world. And one of the greatest motifs that is found in North American, which is a totally different branch than the Central American and Southern and the Aymara of South America, the Kimash of South America. Then in Central America, it was the Maya. It was before that was the Olmec. After the Zapotec. After that, it was Toltec and Aztec. And then North America is mainly the Algonquin tribes, like 30 different types, and the nations of the Iroquois. They're very different, but they have the same traditions. And the same traditions were basically that in the days of Spider Grandmother, something terrible was about to happen, and they went underground to live with the ant people. And one of the greatest motifs throughout the ancient Americas is a monument. It's in cities everywhere. It's in ruins everywhere. It's always showing a building that's already buried. It's built that way. It is a structure that is already buried, and you can only see the very top of it and a little door, and a dude is climbing out of the ground, coming out of the door. It is symbolic of their patriarch in ancient times, leading them out of the underworld to come back to a new heavens and a new earth. It's a very old motif. I recently did a video and showed some pictures of it.
Dang, that is so. Your recall on stuff is amazing. I know you've heard it from several people before, and that you recognize it, but that your recall of history is amazing. So another question of mine is, so I'm somebody that's been into like self-help stuff and like
Right.
how can I help myself? And so your Immortals playlist is something that I've like frequented most often of your catalog, and like got your Reawaken the Immortal Within, those books.
Right.
So and this is, hopefully I can make this related. It's like figuring out, because I realize that we're in some sort of construct or in some sort of containment field or a shell or whatever, however people want to put it, right?
Right.
And so when you understand that and you go, well, how come things can't, realizing that, you go, well, how can things be more easy for me, like in terms of like making money, right? And just like being tapped into that frequency of sorts. And I get what you're saying, where you're like, you decide what you want to do, you project it into the field, and then you release it to the God or whatever your being or source is, and then you move your avatar in that direction without thinking very much about what you just like, what you want, right? Without dwelling on it.
Right.
So I totally get that intellectually, and like that makes sense to me, right? But there's just that part of it where it's just like how you don't think about it, and then how it's related to money, because you've said, oh, money is an ancillary thing, as an energy inside this world, but it's like related to everything, right? Like all your books.
I'm gonna give you a clue. What you're asking me for, if I reduce it to its lowest common denominators, you're asking me for a kickstart. You're asking me as, hey man, I intellectually I can engage in this, I can understand, but there's still something prohibiting me from moving that extra step to make the magic happen. That's basically what you're saying.
There you go, man. Because so many aspects of my life are freaking awesome. Like, and I like, I'm like, oh, I get like
I'm gonna give you a kickstart.
Kick ass. Thanks, dude.
I'm gonna give you the kickstart because other people need to hear this as well. So you have to understand that we live in a magical medium. This magical medium, I talk about it in We Immortals all the time, but in order to tap into the frequency of changing the dynamic of your life from something that isn't happening to something that you want to happen, you need to get on that frequency. So there are ways to kickstart that. If you already have it intellectually, as you just described, then you've already got most of it done. The only problem is you're like an engineer. You're an overthinker. So when you think you think you're dismissing it, you're really not dismissing it. So there is something you can do to actually fool the mind into completely just getting it out of your mind, getting it out as an impediment. This is what's crazy. Remember, I'm always telling you that this is a world that takes fictions and turns them into facts.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best ways to get a good kickstart is to do something that no one else is ever going to tell you to do this. But I'm telling you it works. If there's something you want in life and you can't get on the frequency of what you want, you go find those movies that make you move. You go find those cinematic productions that have moved you in the past, because it's when you engage in the fantasy of a movie and you're watching the protagonist, you're listening to the music, you're in the story because you chose to suspend your disbelief. That's the key. When you suspend your disbelief to engage in a fantasy, you tap into that fantasy vibration. That's creative. That's why you feel so good when you watch a badass movie. But when the movie's over, you're not feeling it anymore. You get it?
I get it.
So you can use the energy of a fantasy that has nothing to do with what you want, and you can cannibalize that energy by thinking about what you want and feeling good about it while you're feeling that, watching a movie that has nothing to do with it. Because energy doesn't have a label. It's just energy. You can use it, you can absorb it, you can transmute it, and you can shelve it away, and you can end that movie thinking, damn, man, I got the very thing I want's already coming, man. I've been tripping. I don't know why I've been overthinking this. And then go to sleep with the full confidence, knowing that if you feel a little bit bad or down tomorrow, then find some music that inspires you. Find another movie that's going to put you back in that vibrational state. And while you're in that vibrational state, without any agitation, without any anxiety at all, think about it, what you're trying to accomplish, and just let it go. You let it go while you're in that vibratory state. And when you come out of that vibratory state, you don't dwell on it. You go do something else. And that's when the magic's going to happen for you, man.
Okay, cool. Hey, thank you so much. I know you got other people waiting. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, the magic for me, what gets me vibrating high is heavy metal. There's a bunch of heavy metal songs, not all heavy metal, some of it's garbage, but there are certain groups that when I listen to them, I'm there. There's nothing I can't do. Get out of my way. If I got a drill in my hand and I got a whole bag full of screws, get out of my way, because I'm gonna build something. Something's gonna happen. I'm telling you, heavy metal moves me. So you just got to find what it is that puts you in that vibratory state, because once you tap into that energy field, you can use that energy any way you want to it, because it's just a frequency. Frequencies don't have labels. It doesn't belong to that movie. You're the one vibrating, not the movie.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'll give that a practice and catch myself in those moments where I'm feeling that, and then project as you say and keep going. Well, hey, thank you so much for your time, and have a great night.
Awesome. I'm gonna get on here to Jaleesa and then Lewis and the Errant Protocol. And then I got more people popping in. All right, Andy, I'll see you next time.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Lewis, what's up? Hold on just a second.
Yeah. Take your time.
I seen Macias made a comment in the chat. I just want to correct him. My mother's maiden name was Wyndham. It's English. My father's name was Durant. It's got a T on it. It's not Duran. It's got a T on it. Durant. Antonio Macinas, one of my moderators, he was asking. All right. Well, what's up, Lewis? What's on your mind, man?
What's up, brother, man? Pleasure to talk to you. Excuse my appearance. I've been driving all day. I'm a trucker. And I just finished parking. So you were on, jumped on.
I got a lot of truckers that listen to me, man.
Oh man, dude, it helps me pass the time. Like I watch every single video on your playlist, like awesome. and some multiple times, just because there's so much information to take in. I got to listen to it like 3 or 4 times to really catch everything you're saying. So awesome material, man. It helps me pass the time, and it's been a big factor in my life. Like your videos have changed my life completely. Like so like I gave up drinking, sober, pulled me out of depression. Like I have a whole new outlook on life thanks to you.
Badass,
so.
Man. I'm glad to hear that, man.
Yeah. Something I've been trying to drop in your channels, and I don't know if you caught wind of it. I'm a big Art Bell fan. I used to listen to Art Bell a lot back in the days,
I did
and
too.
yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of Father Malachi Martin.
Father Malachi. No, Malachi York. I'm familiar with.
Yeah, Father Malachi Martin. He was a Jesuit priest, and he left the church. Some say he was excommunicated. I don't know. He started writing books about the church, and not in a good way. So
Right, right.
yeah, and he gave an interview on Art Bell, and it was funny date. It was May 15th, and he was
Oh
like,
wow.
he was one of the few people to read The Secret of Fatima, the letter that one of the little girls wrote.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. When
And
the sun plunged in the sky and
yes,
all.
yes, yes, and he said he said that he took a vow that he could never reveal it. But he
Right,
said if someone were to call the show and say what the secret was, that he would basically confirm what the person was saying, that it was a secret.
right.
People would call up. No one ever got it. Someone said a partial of what the secret was, but he said it was much worse than what the person was saying.
Yeah.
But what he did reveal to Art Bell on that show is he said there would be two events, the second being worse than the first, and it
Mhm.
would have people filling the churches. And he said it wouldn't be in his lifetime, but it would be in Art Bell's lifetime, like the next generation.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, and I heard you talking about the two events, 2040, 2046,
Right.
they coincide. Like the church knows, and they don't want to say anything. And Father Malachi Martin, he confirmed it on Art Bell. He said it. Two events,
Yeah.
the second being worse than the first. And then when I heard when I started,
Hey, listen.
what,
You know what? These aren't. I have to. I have to stress, Lewis. These are not predictions. This is exactly what Nostradamus said.
yes,
The
yeah,
second
yeah,
one
yeah,
is going to be worse. And then Mother Shipton even describes it that way, that the second sky dragon is the worst. And also a lot of, this is what people get turned off with the Archaix material. They think I'm just some guy that just got on YouTube and started predicting, 2040 and 2046.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
don't know that this research goes back to 2004, 2005. I just wasn't on YouTube. I was publishing books, but it's not even a prediction. These are chronologies that can be
Yeah.
verified by anybody that go back thousands of years. And one of them is 2040 and one of them is 2046. And then you got all kinds of weird stuff like engineer David Davidson in 1924 actually finding a calendar encoded in the three-dimensional geometry of the Great Pyramid and concluding that the calendar is telling us that 2045 is the last year of this timeline. Isn't
Yeah,
that
yeah.
something? This is 1924. Can't make
No,
this stuff up.
no, your data sets are without fault, man. Like I watch them over and over just to see if I could unravel it, and it's like it's solid research, brother. Applause to you, because yeah, I mean, I know it took a lot to get all that information, because it's taken me a lot of time to absorb it.
Yeah.
But and also I've been dropping Ken McClellan's name. I heard on another video that you're not familiar with his research, Ken McClellan.
How do you spell that?
It's KenMcClla. Ken McClellan.
I haven't heard of him. The only Ken I know is Ken Wheeler.
Yeah, he knows about you. I dropped some of your videos on his page. He calls you an optimist. he says you have a better outlook on the timeline than he does, because he predicts events happening much sooner than you. But his research is pretty damn interesting. Like
Right.
he calls himself a reader of ancient stones. So you're the reader of the ancient knowledge, and he's the guy of ancient stones. But you should check his page out, because it's pretty interesting, his research. Take a
Well,
look.
I mean, he and I can both be right. One doesn't negate the other. My only position is that the 2040 event of Phoenix and the Nemesis X event of 2046, these are already encoded in the field, and they're unchangeable, and they have data sets that go back thousands of years. He can equally be right, except these events that he foresees are happening are not going to be of a celestial nature like 2040 and 2046, but they could be man-made.
Yeah. He's he talks about the stones and the stars and how these alignments are coming. These alignments were predicted in the past are happening now, and he shows you on all the ancient stones from the Aztecs, the Mayans. Like he has a lot of like stuff that collections of things he's collected. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
Check out his channels. He's
I
an
wrote his
old
name
guy.
down.
He's an old guy, ex-military, retired. He said he mentioned something about being offered a spot in the bunker, but there wasn't a place for his family, so he's out here spending it with his family.
I wouldn't even go.
Yeah.
You know what? I wouldn't even go. I already know there's people in the intelligence community that are always listening to channels. I know they follow my research. I've had conversations with some of them, but you know what? I don't even care. They already know better than to offer me a spot. I'm riding it out. I'll be 67 years old in 2040, and there's no way in hell I'm gonna be hiding underground when I get to watch exactly what it is I've been researching all my life about.
Yeah, my daughter, she asked me, Dad, you're not afraid? Like you're gonna die? I said, I'm afraid I'm gonna die before it happens because I want to be around to see it.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm not. Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a ride, and I think that those who hold a particular fear or phobia about the future, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and those who are exhibiting no fear and are really perceiving this reality as almost like an amusement park, because that's what it is. Everything's amusing when you just really think about all the crazy shit that's going on. It's all, you know what? I'm just walking through an amusement park, and it's like a huge circus, and everybody's taking turns being a clown.
Yeah.
So you know what? I think that your perspective, the exact way you see yourself in 2040 is about exactly what you're going to experience in 2040. And there isn't any better way to say that, because we do not live in the type of world, the Newtonian universe of cause and effect that people think. We do not. We live in a world that responds to us.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, there's no way in hell I could have survived all these years. Even since I've been out of prison 9 years. But even out of prison, I've been through all kinds of stuff. There's no way I could have survived all this had not there have been some type of special connection to source because of my naivety. I'll sit here and admit it. My naivety, just being naive in thinking that, you know what, I believe strongly in God. I believe so strongly in God that I'll cuss his ass out when I feel like he's got the hammer down on me too much, because I have. Some of my prayers have not sounded like prayers at all. Yeah. But you know what? I've been rewarded for that. It's like, man, you know what? It's like God. I don't think God is anything what people think he is at all. I think we're going to be very, very surprised when we get to the other side. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I think when we get to the other side and we realize, holy shit, that was a hell of a ride. And we realize, damn, we came out of it with knowledge, came out of it with experience, came out there with some new badges on our new avatar. But you know what? I don't think it's going to be very long before we sign up for the next one.
I'm excited. I'm excited about it, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. Well, Lewis, I do got several other people in line.
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you, brother.
Yeah, man. About every 2 weeks, we're going to be doing this late at night.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep on trucking, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I do know this girl. I know this girl because she asked me some questions in the past. This is Jaleesa. Is this the same Jaleesa been on here before?
Yes, it is.
I knew it. Not a real common name.
I wanted to ask you, so I know you said that you basically discovered the Phoenix phenomena just from reading old books and being incarcerated. But I want to know, when is the exact point where you kind of figure like, wow, I think I may be on to something here, and actually calculating like every 138 increments? Like, how did that, when you really first figured like this is bigger than just one one cataclysm or another one cataclysm or two cataclysms, like
It's a
it's
good
bigger
question.
than that?
It's a good question. It's as a matter of fact, my first draft of Chronicon was like in 1998, 1999. My first draft of Chronicon, there wasn't a hint of the 138-year Phoenix phenomenon in there because I hadn't discovered it yet. But what I did discover was that an Ionian Greek scientist named Aristarchus said that the world is destroyed. What am I listening to? We got some feedback here somewhere. Hold on. Hold on. Let me turn everybody's microphones off. Somebody's got a TV on or something. Hold on.
I don't know. I'm in my restroom. Everything here is quiet.
No. Errant Protocol, that might be your microphone's on. He'll be joining us here in a minute. So anyway, I had some unusual, arithmetic that I had to contend with. It did not escape my notice that all these different texts say that the pre-flood world was 1,656 years, but I never made a connection. Aristarchus said the world is destroyed every 2484 years. So I didn't never thought to look at the two. They were just highly specific numbers. Why wouldn't you say 1700 years? Why wouldn't you say 25 centuries or 24 centuries? These are very highly specific. So I found some other ones. I found 1104. Then I found a 2760, and I'm still not making the connection. But I had a list of all these different citations from the historical record of periods involving resets and cataclysms, and I don't know why. Oh, I'm getting too much feedback here. I'm gonna hold on. I don't know what I'm hearing, but I know everybody else hears it too. Jaleesa, that might have been from you. You turned your microphone off? Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna continue answering. So anyway, I didn't make the connection initially. It took a while. I had to read a book by Stephen Jones called The Secrets of Time. And when I read that book, he had already answered part of the problem. And part of the problem is he identified a 414-year period that was found everywhere throughout the historical record. So when I reviewed his chronological book and his chronological research, I was thinking that, oh man, this is the key component. 1656 years is divisible by 414, and the 2484 was divisible by 414. Several 1104. So the 1242 years of Nostradamus. Because Nostradamus mentioned a 1,242-year period before the flood. It too is divisible by 414. So I figured I had the key. So I'm studying history in 414, but it keeps jumping out at me that I've got other episodes in the historical record that don't line up on this 414-year timeline. So when I started looking at them, I noticed that they're 138 years before or 138 years after every 414 years. So I started looking a little bit closely, and then I read in Tracy Twyman's research, quoting an old Jewish book. Tracy Twyman literally said that the angels that warned Lot that God was going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, they were banished from heaven for 138 years. So when I was reading that, Tracy Twyman also mentions another author named David Davidson, the engineer that wrote the Great Pyramid book I'm always citing. So I go read David Davidson's material, and he's got all this data in here about the Phoenix. I never heard of that before. He's talking about Phoenix chronology, Phoenix timeline, and he's talking about the flood. He mentions the 1656 years before the flood. He mentions Aristarchus's 2484 years. And as I'm going through all this, I'm saying, wow, these measurements are also in the Great Pyramid. And I start putting this together. And somewhere in that period, Jaleesa, I took all these historical events, timelines, all the distances between them all, and the 138 years, somewhere in that period of time around 1999, right around Y2K 2000, I finally realized it wasn't 414 at all. 138 connects all of these. And once I knew it was 138, that's when everything else jumped out, such as ancient Egyptian texts that talk about a disaster period being 1,656 months. That's really interesting because that's how they measured time. They didn't count years. Everything was in months. That's how we know Atlantis was 13th century BC, not the Ice Age, because the Egyptians only counted by the moon. So all these things came to me around Y2K 2000. Then by 2004, I had rewritten Chronicon to include all the new Phoenix data because I had Nemesis X. I had Nibiru data way before Phoenix. I had all that data way before. Phoenix was an add-on. It was an accidental discovery.
Thank you for answering my question. And the second part I was going to ask, what you answered was, how did you, discover how those measurements related to the Great Pyramid as well, which you kind of answered.
Yeah, well, David Davidson was the one that gave me the clues on the Phoenix chronology, and that some of those Phoenix timelines were in the pyramid. But I had to look at Sir Flinders Petrie's measurements, which are absolutely scientifically precise, and those are the ones that I drew all my charts with. And my charts show Flinders Petrie's measurements and how they're all divisible by 138. And that's an absolutely new discovery brought into the Great Pyramid research. And still today, there's no one trying to give an explanation as to how this is possible.
All right, that's all I have. But thank you for answering my question.
All right, Jaleesa, where you hail from?
I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
All righty. We got some Pennsylvania in the house.
If you ever do an East Coast meetup,
I did Virginia Beach, but I think the next time I go to the East Coast, I've been to Tampa too. So next time I do a one, I'm probably going to be the New York area. I got some people in New York that have been really pressing me to do it.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
All right, Jaleesa, I'm gonna move on over to Errant Protocol.
All right, thank you.
Till next time.
All right, bye.
All righty. Thanks for being patient, Mr. Protocol. You'll have to activate your microphone. Unmute. Hold on. There you go. I can't seem to unmute you from here. Errant Protocol, my computer is telling me that your microphone is not hooked up. You'll have to go into your audio settings and activate your microphone. Meanwhile, I got some more. Let me go in here. Sending some more links out. Let's see here. Huh. Some idiot sent me an email. Woohoo! Archaix refuses debate. So I look at the video. It's that dude, Gnostic Academy. I've already told those guys, man, all of them. Iron Bush, all of them, man. They quit acting like children. Errant Protocol, you can't get your microphone on. My computer says your microphone is not activated. Oh, was that Christina? I just sent Christina a link. I just sent out several more links, guys. Oh, let's see. Dennis Gilmore, I know who he is. Dennis Gilmore's been a pain in my ass, but I'm sending him a link right now. He's been a pain in my ass in the past. Let's see here. All right. Mandy Pharaoh. All right. Hey, Errant Protocol, we're gonna have to go. There's something wrong on your end. My computer says your microphone is not activated. Yeah, I can't do nothing from this end. I've been trying. It won't even let me unmute you because when I do, my screen pops up over here and says Errant Protocol's microphone is not connected. You'd have to click onto your little gear on your computer and go to your settings, go to audio settings, and it's going to give you a selection of microphones.
You got me now, brother?
Yes, I do.
Hey.
Crystal clear. Crystal clear. What's up, man?
Simulacrum. That's
oh man, we can't say it like that anymore. We can't say it like that anymore.
Simulacrum. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Hey, brother. Hey, I appreciate you. Much love and grace and peace to you and yours. I do appreciate you. I tell you what, you have taught me to utilize the tools that I've been using all of my life. I'm almost 60 years old, and all of my life, I do what I want. I eat what I want. I smoke what I want. I do anything I want, and I am still healthy and well and whole. But it's because I believe it's all going to be all right. And it is. Every time.
Going to be all right.
It's all good, brother. I tell you what, you're teaching principles of truth. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I've been seeing you in the chat for a long time.
Hey, here's my question. So when everything results by seeds, so you plant a seed, it grows according to whatever you plant. If you plant something you don't want, how do you deal with what you don't want to grow? How do you do it? I know how I do it. How do you do it?
I just don't engage. I mean, if
there's that's the answer, brother.
Yeah, man. I got all kinds of people. I got all kinds of people like this nut right here in my email. I got all kinds of people trying to vie for my attention in negative ways and stuff. But you know what? We have to put value on ourselves.
That's right.
Like I've got little pissants that don't understand the principles of research, and I've basically given them an opportunity that no one will give them. No one at my level of research with all my publishing accomplishments no one is doing what I've offered to publish for free. Anybody's problems they have with my research, I'll do it on YouTube. I'll put it all over the Archaix empire, all the social networks, whatever you got an issue with, I'll put it out there so everybody can see it. And I might even let people stew on it for a week or two before I give answer. But who's going to do that? And instead, man, instead of actually publishing or posting their little issues, whatever your little issues are, they just get on their own little channels and cry like little girls. I'm getting tired of it. But you know what? I don't go to their channels and watch those because there's no sense in engaging. If you hold yourself at a certain value, then you depreciate that value when you engage with toxicity, when you engage with those souls that don't have your best interest at heart. So I just ignore them.
That's it, brother. Well, you know what? I can appreciate that because that's what I've learned is you just let it go. Let it go. Leave them be. Let them do what they're going to do because that's their choice. What we do is what affects us.
Absolutely.
We choose, and then we will be the ones that reward or unreward from what our choice is. We do it to ourselves. Like you said, we do it to ourselves.
All the
Nobody
time.
does it. We do it to ourselves. I appreciate you, brother. Much love and grace, and I appreciate you confirming.
Yeah, man. I'll see you in the chat like every day. You need to get on our underground if you're not there already.
I'm already there, brother. That's the best thing I've ever seen. It's better than anything I've ever done. So I think.
Thank you, man. Because hey, listen, I've been in awe all day long. I had no idea this project was going to take off like this. Wow.
Yeah, I appreciate you,
all day
brother.
long.
Much love and grace.
You too, man. Later.
Shalom.
All right, Conscious Soul. I got you backstage right now. I just sent some more emails out. Bring you up on stage right here. Oh, Conscious Souls Thrive. All right.
Man, you're gonna put me on the spot that quick, man? Oh my goodness.
Hey, you know what? You got a really good audio. Are you in a vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm living in here, man, but it's better than being homeless and not having a car, right?
That is true. Hey, the phones are the way they're manufacturing the phones now. There's just no cameras that are better. There's no audio that's better. The phones are better than laptops.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially when you got the Bluetooth in the vehicle.
Yeah.
So no, the reason I'm in Shelby Township, Michigan, man.
Okay, Michigan, man. That's pretty far north.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's already September. We got some trees here turning yellow and orange, man, but it's still mostly green for the most part. So yeah.
I'm lucky being in Texas. I got banana trees on my property. So
oh my God, man, that sounds awesome.
I got a lot of plants. I plant a lot of trees and bushes. I got lemon trees.
Oh damn.
Here in Texas, things grow all year round.
Yeah, sweet.
We almost never have a freeze right where I'm at, and when we do, it's for 1 or 2 days. Well,
you were breaking up there.
Oh, we might have lost him, guys. You still there, bro? Oh, there you go. You're back.
Yeah. Was that me or was that me? That was me or you?
Yeah, it's on your end. It's okay.
Oh, okay. And I got Wi-Fi in my car, so it's probably it cuts out sometimes. Yeah, it's got a 4G Wi-Fi or something like that.
Shit. That's
anyways, the reason I right, and it doesn't have that 5G. That's the good part. Those newer ones, they literally microwave you, man, the whole time you're driving. You can't shut off all those bells and whistles.
I spent 13 days in the hospital. About within 4 or 5 days of getting my first 5G phone, bro. I'm not dumb. They irradiated
No way.
me.
No, I had it was a Samsung Galaxy FE or S24 FE or something like that. It was a 5G phone.
Right.
It's the first one I've had.
Oh, we're losing you, bro. You broke up a whole lot. You're gone. He's stuck. All right, bro. If you can still hear me, you're welcome to come back in, but your signal's gone. I got Christina the Astonishing coming up. Oh, if his signal comes back, we're gonna pull him back in the studio. How you doing, Christina? Christina, you got to turn your microphone on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfect.
I'm good. I hear kind of an echo. Is it better if I put these? Is that on?
Yeah, I can hear you, girl.
Hi.
I can hear you. Been a long time.
Okay,
How you
I'm
doing?
hearing an echo.
It must be on your end. It's not. There's no echo here.
It's like behind. I'm hearing like my voice, what I said earlier.
Okay. Oh.
Should I plug this in?
I don't know what. Do you have your phone on too?
No. It's like there's a delay of like several seconds.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. With all your production experience, I thought you'd have your shit together.
No. I'm like Amish.
You're not Amish. You got half as many videos I got.
I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna unplug my normal speaker, but my computer is really old.
All right.
I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna unplug my normal speaker, but my computer is really old.
You got.
I'm sorry.
You got feedback. I don't know what you got going on, but you got feedback.
I knew this was going to be a disaster. No, I'm going to panic. I'm sorry. Okay.
What's going on? That's too much. It's too much. I don't know what's going on, but it sounds like you got two different video feeds going on at the same time. I'll circle back to you. I got Nolan and Sarita backstage. You got your signal back?
Yeah. I turned my Wi-Fi off. I said, "Fuck that." It was it keeps cutting out, man. I don't know what it is, but
that's all right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just use the phone.
Yeah. And so what the thing I wanted to bring up, I guess, is when you're talking, it was right at the beginning of this video, how you're saying like you were in prison, and you are, I don't know if you were saying it was you in prison, but you're saying everywhere you go you feel like you got that charm. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like a lucky charm, like a good luck hanging over your shoulder all the time. You know, and I felt that same thing my whole life. And everybody always mentioned me as lucky, even though, you know, I like to consider myself lucky, but I don't think it's luck. It's just believing and having that literally that innate fucking core belief at the root that you're good. You know what I'm saying? And that brings about the good. You know, is that how you feel about it?
Yeah.
You know, and I know source God, you know, I don't even really like putting a name on it, but yeah, it is within us and is all around me at the same time. Oh, and this I'm kind of jumping. There's two different things I wanted to bring up, I guess. The other part of it was you know, my innate belief is that God is within us, so therefore we are God, and we're kind of playing. We kind of are individuated in our perception, but we're really not. You know, and it's confusing to think about, but anyways, like I wanted to ask you about, like, what do you think that layer or film that screen almost that is separating us? I know God's not a separate entity that you could be like, oh, point at God and that's God and here's me. You know what I'm saying? I know God's not like that. God is something you really can't put a definition on or a label. And I wanted to ask you about, what do you think about what that perceptual lens that is kind of restricting us from the whole, from being back into all that is, when say you die, you go back to your source, but you were always there even now. You know what I'm saying? So
there's a lot to be said for morals and ethics, because if you regard yourself as coming from high moral fabric, other people will perceive you as an ethical being. There's a power in morality, because when you ever heard the phrase becoming morally indignant?
Yeah, that sounds like you're doing the wrong thing, right?
No, morally indignant is it's when you become morally indignant, you actually borrow power from something else, because you have this righteous anger, because you're not just mad somebody took something from you. You're mad because of whatever conditions are attached to that person taking something from you. It's like they have no right. It's like, how dare you do this? It's something, when you become morally offended, it's because something in your values is offended. It's not something as simple as somebody just stealing something from you. It's why they stole it from you, or how they stole it from you. It adds an extra layer that it just trips your morals. And when this happens to you, it's almost as if you have a temporary time where you become the Hulk, and there isn't shit that anybody can do. You don't care how tough somebody is. The very fact that they cross that line, you are willing to become the Punisher. So this is when people become morally indignant, it's not just a physical reaction. When I get morally indignant, I actually go into like a hyper intellectual mode. I don't respond to violence, and I don't respond to threats like a lot of people do. I actually get very, very quiet, and I pay attention to detail, and I'm in the moment. I'm just there. Yeah, I'm probably never more alive than when I'm threatened or when my back's against the wall, and it's to me, I internalize. I'm just everything's going on inside of me right before I just do whatever I'm about to do.
You feel like a fire in your gut, almost in like your chest. That's what I get. I know what you're saying too.
Yeah,
I get that same thing. It's almost like a blackout rage, but it's not. It's like a righteous passion of anger.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Being
it's
mad,
like
mad at somebody is nothing. Being mad at somebody is nothing. But when you are morally indignant, that's when you actually become dangerous. That's when you need to really watch it, because I'm telling you, with that degree, when you have this righteous anger, it empowers you. And that's why you have to be more careful when you're dealing with other people, because you can really I'm not just talking about with fists or feet.
No, I know.
You can actually also intellectually scar somebody up and do irreparable damage to their psyche. You can, when somebody is morally indignant, they can say things with absolute truth that another soul hears you say, and they can't believe you actually said. And it's the truth, so it just tears them apart. But
it's the truth, and that's what hits them the hardest. But when you're like in that mode where you're like you feel a million percent righteous, and it's not even like it's almost like a snap, that's how you get to.
Well, I'll give you an example. I could give you a bunch of them from my violent days, in the joint, but I'll give you one that's more recent. I'm not going to tell you who this person is. It's not even important, but somebody was unleashing a whole bunch of toxicity in my presence, and there was two other people at the table, and this went on for like an hour and 15 minutes, and I was feeling it. I'm not feeling this toxicity. I don't want to engage in this conversation. I do not like it, but I'm there, and I can't just excuse myself, but I'm on my laptop. And two other souls were there, and they were listening to this individual just toxify our whole environment. And when they actually included me, which they should have never done, by that time I was morally indignant. But when they stopped their own tirade, to say, what do you think, Jason? It was the wrong thing to do to me because I instantly told the truth. And this person has hated me ever since. But I instantly said, well, I mean, the answer is very clear. You hate yourself. And the reason you're going through everything you're going through is because you absolutely despise who you are, but you steadily blame everybody you come in contact with. So I went back to my laptop. But after that day, that person has just gone their own way. That person can't stand me anymore. But you know what?
Yeah.
I didn't ask them to toxify my environment. And as soon as they included me in that toxification, I just unleashed on them. That's
yeah,
what,
like they wanted you to like play along with their bullshit, basically.
well,
you know, like blow smoke up their ass type thing.
You can't do it. Do it. All right, man.
But,
I'm gonna get to Nolan and Sarita here.
All right, man. Cool.
I'm doing this every 2 weeks, so jump on next time too, man.
All right, for sure. All right, brother.
All right, later. All right, Nolan. Let me get you in here, Nolan. That was conscious soul right there.
Hey, what's going on, Jason?
Where you hailing from?
I'm from Vancouver Island, Canada.
Oh wow, okay, Canadian.
Way up here, yeah. Sorry, I just put some tea on right as you called my name. My apologies.
Man, what kind of tea you drinking?
We got some traditional everyday detox.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my favorite tea is I drink tea too.
Yeah,
I changed it up with coffee. I like the orange pico tea.
that's good stuff as well. I'm doing a bit of a cleanse right now, or a fasting thing for like a 48-hour. So it's just tea, coffee, and water, which is nice.
Excellent.
Yeah, Jason, it's tough to know exactly where to start. You have such a large body of work and impact on definitely my life and definitely the lives of many others in the last several years. I did write a few things down. I find myself very interested and fascinated by the idea of prehistory and the pre-flood world. So I wrote it on the question, what is the structure of life under matriarchal systems as opposed to the patriarchal systems? And what kind of lessons or programs are we, as errants or immortal souls, experiencing in each of those contrasting civilizational orientations? Can each of these systems be in states of more or less harmony or benevolence, or is one considered higher vibration, one lower vibration inherently?
So the antediluvian world, a 1656-year period, was predominantly matriarchal. In a matriarchal society, it was technologically advanced. It wasn't as simple. It wasn't the anthropological model that we've received today.
Yeah.
We have too many archaeological anomalies that do not make sense in the context of uniformitarian worldview. But from the perspective of an infrastructure that was very advanced using some other types of technologies that we're not really familiar with. And the reason we're not familiar with it is because we're assuming that we're assuming that the world that they lived under was very similar to our own.
Yeah.
When it wasn't. They had a totally different air pressure. I mean, all these anatomical clues that we give, such as the epiphyseal cartilage built up that we find on the Cro-Magnon man, such as the long skulls that have been found all over the world. It's not just South America. Those are the main ones. Those are the main ones floating around on social media. People show the pictures of the long skull, but actually, Leonard Woolley excavated long-skulled people in the oldest Sumerian crypts of Ur. So the earliest dynasties of the Sumerian people, the pre-flood people, they were long-skulled. The first 5 dynasties of ancient Egypt, their tombs have yielded long-skulled people. Now, these are just anatomically correct humans under a high-pressure environment. It just means that they lived for long periods of time, and they lived in a totally different biosphere. And because of that, once they hit about 80 years old, they started building up what's called epiphyseal cartilage, which made the bones thicker, gave them more Neanderthalic features.
Brows and skulls.
Right. But we're also dealing with they were technologically advanced to the point where they got along with nature, and it was harmonious.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the type of environment, clothes weren't really needed a whole lot in a vapor canopy environment. It was literally a Garden of Eden type atmosphere, and we can rely on archaeology to paint a really good picture of that world as well, such as the Acambaro artifacts. Are you familiar with those?
No, I'm not. No.
Acambaro, Mexico, 35,000 figurines have been found with anatomically correct Stegosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Brontosaurus,
right.
Allosaurus, all these things that they call dinosaurs, which are nothing but reptiles and amphibians.
Under larger lizards under a vapor canopy.
Yeah, under vapor canopy conditions.
Yeah.
So we just don't know all the changes that are going to happen to different life forms, because the genome for each individual species is so complex. Under different biospheres, there's fundamental changes. This isn't a theory. They've proven that in Glen Rose, Texas. I recently went and talked to the doctors and geneticists at Glen Rose, Texas. They gave me the full tour, and they even showed me the output of what happened when they put rattlesnakes in those hyperbaric chambers and they replicated vapor canopy conditions.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. That's
Man, it's amazing.
Yeah.
They took West Texas rattlesnakes, which you got about 2.5 minutes to live if you're less than 200 pounds. You got about 2.5 minutes to live before you're dead.
Well, I'm screwed then, yeah.
You get hit by one of these big old West Texas rattlers. So they took the rattlesnakes and they put them in the hyperbaric chamber, and they replicated the ultraviolet blue light that would be filtering in through the atmosphere. They increased the oxygen to about 85%, and they increased the air pressure. Those are the only 3 changes they made.
Right.
And which was enough. And all the insects and all the plants grow bigger and thicker. But with the rattlesnakes, there was a fundamental change. Because the rattlesnakes that grew up in the hyperbaric chamber, their venom was extracted and it was no longer poisonous. To a human, it's absolutely neutral. If a rattlesnake bit you, you wouldn't even feel it. There would be no venom reaction whatsoever. So this means that the Garden of Eden scenario that's been passed down to us in traditions is probably very accurate. People would have think about all the footprints we found. Tens of thousands of footprints have been found petrified in all over the world, and they're all barefoot except for one fossil. One set of fossils is of somebody wearing sandals.
Yeah.
But all the other ones are barefoot. And in such a world where, in a high pressure environment where all these spiders, arachnids, scorpions, rattlesnakes, all these things that are very toxic to the human blood, to mammals, isn't even poisonous in that environment. So it kind of makes sense of the traditions that have passed down to us of this Garden of Eden-like deal. People weren't scared of being stung or deal. And like I said, it's not theory. They actually replicated this in Texas.
Yeah, that's so cool. It also kind of lends credence to the idea of as the vapor canopy changes and as the environment changes, inherently civilization adapts to it, and different ways of being come about because of the changing environment. So like you would imagine like warfare in a situation where you're constantly healing or healing really quickly, physical strength and being able to physically best the other man isn't as paramount as it is in this situation. So there'd be
so I mentioned earlier with a different guest that some of the most accurate pictures of the pre-flood world come from Native American traditions. They're just the most accurate. Well, do you know what one of the most long-standing Native American tradition is concerning warfare?
Did they do lacrosse or something? They played games.
Yeah. They had 2 different warring factions would actually fight with sticks, and there would be no death.
Yeah,
kill each other. So where would such a tradition derive from?
Yeah,
it would derive from a period of time when it was almost impossible to kill somebody.
Yeah.
So it also makes sense of the whole Cain and Abel episode, because it's the whole Cain killing. I'm not saying Cain and Abel is a true story. What I'm saying is that it has been passed down to us reflecting the phenomena of the times. And Cain wasn't just banished, he was cursed because he killed Abel. But under a vapor canopy environment, he would have had to have really worked to kill Abel. That means he really wanted him dead. It wasn't something as simple as taking a stone and hitting somebody in the head.
Yeah, you have to, like,
You had to
decapitate
really
them.
bludgeon somebody
Yeah.
to get them to die in the vapor canopy conditions.
Yeah,
So
and that also makes sense as to why it would be more feminine led, when there would be more impetus or more emphasis placed on interpersonal dynamics and being able to cooperate more freely because you couldn't immediately suppress another group. That would lend it to more of a matriarchal, feminine.
well, we can't. We also can't ignore that. I mean, we have a lot of traditional. Most of the information that comes from this part of the world, this time period, is traditional. We have a lot of traditional testimony that females had some type of psycho-emotive power. And what I mean, what I mean is they had some type of an ability, either through speech or song, to affect the emotions of males. We have from this time period, we have the females are not just in authority, but they're actually venerated. And to get very strong males that can almost never die, that live for long periods of time and are hard to hurt, to actually venerate females, then it must have been some type of cerebral, emotive power that rendered men helpless. It had to be. There must have been something there. It couldn't have been just men respecting women. It has to be.
Yeah,
the vapor canopy conditions probably affected females very different than males.
That's so interesting because you see now, like, there's obviously a rising of the feminine, whatever modality, the feminine side of the coin, as opposed to the last several hundreds of years, thousands of years, whichever, of patriarchal structuring. And now you have it in a way that's very toxic in some sense, in a lot of ways, where it's completely, I think it's like taking the pendulum, trying to swing it all the way. Do you think that's just indicative of the frequency change in the realm, or is that just like something that's being pushed up to 11 by elite power structures? Because it's clearly being pushed by the establishment at the same time.
Well, I think many of the things that we're wondering about, many of the things that we're trying to figure out, they're not going to be really. We can theorize and we can guesstimate, and we can go back and forth like this, but there's going to come a time when everything is going to be absolutely obvious. And I believe 100% that the reason the ancient world was the way it was is because we were on a totally different ecliptic plane. And we were moving perpendicular, or at least the sky was showing that we were moving perpendicular to where we're moving now. And when our world is in its proper place on the Nemesis ecliptic, Nemesis was female. Nemesis got a real bad rap, but the oldest Greek traditions of Nemesis was that she was highly venerated. Her most holy symbol was a wheel. The wheel is the predecessor of the scales. Before they had scales to show justice, balance, and vengeance, that's what scales mean. The justice, balance, and vengeance. That's why the third horseman comes in. The third horseman comes in holding a pair of scales. That's the Nemesis symbol.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean what you think it means. It means all about bringing balance and vengeance back to something that has gotten way out of hand. That's what the symbol of the scales are for. So this was the Nemesis symbol. But before scales were even invented, post-cataclysm, it was a wheel. The earliest depictions of the Greek Nemesis, she held a wheel. Well, the wheel was how they balanced. The wheel showed balance. It has the same concept as the actual scales, but Nemesis is always holding this wheel, and it's a wheel of time that brings balance. So
funny, Wheel of Time, because that's also the name of I think there's a series called Wheel of Time about females with magical abilities and like a sort of fantastical.
In the ancient concept of Wheel of Time was the turnings of the stars. The wheel moved. The wheel moved one time. When all the stars went around the circumpolar star.
Yeah.
And this is why the sun had a chariot. It was the chariot has wheels. But anyway,
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
It's as long as we're on the soul ecliptic, we're in a patriarchal paradigm. It is one of violence, of war, of the baser. It's basically the baser human instincts and phenomena. But when Earth is like in 2046, in the month of November, Nemesis X is going to pull us right back onto the Nemesis ecliptic.
Right.
When that happens, that's just like the book of Revelation shows, it is the return of the goddess. It is the return of the goddess power. It is the return of matriarchal power. And it's like I don't believe any vapor canopies ever happened while we were here on the Soul's ecliptic. Every vapor canopy happened only during those periods we were on the Nemesis ecliptic.
Right.
And I believe in 522 AD, which was the only year in human history going back 10,000 years and going forward 8,000 years. It is the only time in history Nemesis X and Phoenix visited the same year. In 522 starts the Dark Ages. I believe Earth was moved at that period too, and this is why we have all our giant snails and giant lizards and George fighting the dragon. And when we came out of the Middle Ages, I mean the Dark Ages, and started the Middle Ages, this is why everything seems so comical and so childish. Christianity was childish. After it was fully developed 500 years earlier, all of a sudden it's all childish again. Well, you know, with saints flying on broomsticks and flying through the air, and knights, fully armored knights, are sent out to go fight snails, and it's just crazy. The whole period of time is nuts.
Yeah, it's so strange. Do you think because there's clearly an elite faction that exists between these reset periods, as errants, we're transversing through all these different ages, through different incarnations, to obviously learn lessons and develop soul? Maybe that's not obvious, but I think it is. Do you think that the people that are here, or the entities that are here, are doomed to stay here, or have they made a choice and sacrificed their connection to Almighty Source, or are they just part of the simulation in the sense that we need opposition in certain ages, so they're more of a tool?
I don't want to overcomplicate anything. First of all, I only assert things as factual if there's something chronological, something I've documented, something that I know. So it is by virtue of my chronological research that I believe that we live in a construct. So it now becomes my opinion. It's an educated opinion, but it's still an opinion. It now becomes my opinion that because all my life I felt like I'm a spiritual being, and I have endured things that do not make sense to me from a Newtonian perspective, and that only an oversoul and my connection to an oversoul can even make sense of some of the experiences that I've had. And I know that other souls in the construct have also had experiences like this. And I also know that there's a vast body of avatars around me that act like they're soulless. So it kind of makes me wonder if there isn't as many awakened here as we're led to believe. It also makes me make certain deductions. And those deductions being that, well, if there's an oversoul and that God is eternal, then that must mean the creation is eternal as well. And if the creation, if any one aspect of the creator is eternal, then that means there's no way that the creator could stop creating. So if the creation is a continuum, then that means my experience right now must be very temporal. And if my experience is very temporal, but I'm a part of a bigger experience that I can't really feel right now because I'm wearing part of this experience. That's where the trouble comes in for people. They don't understand. That's not your body. This belongs to the construct. And as long as you're wearing a piece of the construct, you are moored to the construct. And it's very difficult to think transconstructional. It's very difficult to understand, even imagine what's probably going on outside of this experience. Because the only time we're not here is when we're asleep. But when we come back from sleep, we can't remember where we just came from. There's a huge mathematical distance between where we're at now and where we go when we're in REM sleep. And when we come back, we don't bring any of those memories with us at all. So this tells me we're an artificial construct. The arithmetic exercises that I've done for you guys, like the number 2178 and other exercises I've done, the Phoenix number, all these things in historical record, all divisible by 138. None of this makes sense historically. That's why there's so many critics of Archaix. But it does make sense if we're in a mathematical construct, and these are just cataclysm protocols. Now we're dealing with programming. As long as we're dealing with programming, I can make sense of that. It means that on the outside of this construct, I must be more than I suppose myself to be. I must be moored to something more real that's unattainable to me now, unattainable to my awareness. However, while I'm here, I feel real, but it's artificial. I'm in the photo negative of something that's real, but the realness is located elsewhere. So I have to add to that the accretion that I believe that the oversoul would always have my best intentions. So if the oversoul has my best intentions, but threw me in this hellhole right here, then there must be a reason for it. And the more I process this, the more I think about it. I mean, I've flown 65 feet upside down on a motorcycle accident, and I was totally calm. I was upside down when I hit that concrete pylon. This is after barbed wire ripped my shirt off. And rebar tore my whole tattoo out. I had to pull rebar out of my arm, and I was in the ER, and I remember how calm I was. And I remember how calm I was many other times when I experienced very violent episodes. And I have to process all this. And when I'm done with all this processing of my personal experiences and what I know other people have done, I have no other way but to conclude that the oversoul must be really good, and that this is an experience that isn't really real. But it's so hyperdimensional that I'm able to grow, mature. I'm able to learn things and do things in here that I probably couldn't experience on the outside. So that's as far as I can really go. Has nothing to do with chronology. It has nothing to do with my historical research. This is all my opinion, but it's my opinion based off a lot of cogitation in prison cells, thinking about my life, and then 9 years out, and then dialoguing and listening to all you guys tell me your stories, and it just solidifies my opinion that this is a temporal experience, and that we are immortals, and that the outside of here must be so badass that we're not allowed to experience any of that. We're not allowed to experience all the darker negative stuff, and that the whole story of the prodigal son is literally the key to understanding our present condition.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The logical extrapolations you can make just by observing how things work around you, and sort of taking or having an understanding of the fractal nature of reality, where I can see something existing in a very small aspect of the world, and then I can extrapolate that outwards. I know you talk about that a lot.
Yeah, we have a demonstration. The Mandelbrot set demonstrates that concept very good.
This is great stuff, Jason. I think you're doing incredible work. I've felt very disconnected from the world for a long time in terms of how I can relate to it. I really like people, and I enjoy life, but I've always felt separate from it in a rather isolating way. And especially since all the COVID stuff and all the lockdown things, up here it got real crazy. Almost everybody I know.
I know several Canadians. They've told me.
Yeah, so it got real bad. Thankfully, none of my immediate family, none of us took it or complied with anything, but that cost a lot. So it's real interesting going through these different experiences and sort of having this ill to articulate or difficult to articulate sense that it's all going to be okay. It's really frustrating more than it is angering. When I see people that what I see is so obvious, and what so many people here in the audience likely feel the same way about,
right?
How complex and deeply interesting and dynamic this world is, and how it's not what it presents itself to us as. And the fact that so many people that I thought were above that, or at least had some preliminary understanding of that, immediately folded to the most obvious stuff in the entire world, was really interesting. But listening to channels like yours and others is very uplifting. I think it's helping me understand things a lot more. It's helping me orient myself better in the world as a young man. So I'm very grateful and thankful for all the work you do.
Awesome. I think we got another. I think there's another Canadian right here.
Pull him up. I probably know him.
About to come in the chat here in a minute. First we got Sarita.
Sure.
And then but yeah, man, it's good talking to you, Nolan. Like I said,
Nice talking to you, Jason.
We'll do these twice a month.
Appreciate it.
Doing these late night ones. I kind of like this late night. I get
it's a good vibe.
I get to eat saltine crackers and cut up and
do
all that. All right, man. I'll holler at you later.
Yeah.
I was impressed with Nolan. Very, very good communicator. He knows exactly what he wants to say and keeps his statements abbreviated to say it. But let's see. Sarita, I know this is a friend of mine right here. There we go.
Hey,
there we go. Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Great. Yeah, Nolan was great. And what I so appreciate, and I know you're getting this feedback, is all these young people who are just, falling into place, knowing that something is off. And it's really primarily with the education that they've been given. And now they have a place to actually go, okay, that makes sense. And they're going to learn things correctly. And so they will just start operating with so much less programming. So it's that in itself will wipe out mental health issues. So I just want to say, yay for people like Nolan. And I throw your channel at every young person who comes into my sphere who is like, I don't want to go home, or I don't want to go to school, and nobody understands me. I mean, there's lots of tools, but so that's one. Thank you.
Real quick before you get started, I just want, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to embarrass you right now, Sarita.
No.
I'm just teasing. She used to work for the man for a long time, and you can mention him. You can mention him if you want, but
let's just skip it right now, because I've spent the last 10 years trying not to say his name, so I could actually have my own life. But it's always going to come up, so I don't care. I mean, I live 5 minutes away from him.
Yeah. Anyway, she worked for a producer in Hollywood for a very long period of time. So we've had some discussions. We talk about it later.
Yep. So, in addition to him, I did work for Andy Warhol in the 80s, right at the height of the AIDS epidemic. So I saw a lot there that also, kind of got me thinking, what is going on here in the world? Because it's almost like if you're in the vicinity of people who are creating a narrative and a culture, and then you walk outside and you see the whole world operating differently, you just can't miss that there are different worlds happening.
Right.
So, and when I throw out these names, everyone, I'm one of these people that my biggest ambition in life was just to sit under the sun and read a book. And so every job I've had has literally been because I just walk and I bump into stuff and people give me these jobs. So it's like, and I go, okay, I'll try that. And if I don't like it, I leave it. But for me, they've been incremental steps that have led me to an undeniable truth. And, as we all say, there are no accidents. So I think I was meant to see a lot of these things just the way a lot of us are. And I'm like the girl next door. You would never know I know as much as I know. I am kind. I help everyone. I've gone through struggles like everyone else has. But, the girl next door can really glean a lot into the world.
No.
So, I think that's important. When we are relatable people, then we tend to be able to deliver a message quicker than somebody who's trying to bust the truth down your throat.
Right. Yeah, when I go to meetups, I notice real quick, some people are just very quiet and they just observe everything. Mm-hmm. So when we do our handshaking and hugs and book signings and pictures, somebody who hasn't said a word or moved the entire presentation would come up, and I always have a habit at my meetups to talk to every single individual. I make myself available. So because that's people travel. Some people fly in. I don't know where you came from, and I know a lot of people took time out of their life to fly in and get a hotel and all that to come to a meetup. So I spend the whole day of my meetups just talking to people that came. And every meetup, I believe every meetup I've had, it's about 12 of them now. There's always been somebody who just blows my mind, because as soon as they start talking, I realize, whoa, this person has a lot of depth, and they're just asking me questions about very highly specific things that I would only talk to with another researcher, somebody who's very well versed in the field. And I'm like, wow, man, it just blows my mind. Catches me off guard sometimes, because I'm really just there to shake hands, give hugs, and sign books. But yeah, it's I never underestimate anybody. You never know. So some people just have a lot of depth to them, and you would never imagine it. It's just interesting. It's interesting who is in our proximity out there in public, and we don't even know it.
Well, that's just it. We just don't know. And the more we learn, through people like you, that's when you just really cannot take it for granted that we are like walking amongst incredible, powerful people. It's beyond just saying that we're all powerful. You literally see people do that. So yeah, I love that you talk to everybody at those meetups, because they're here because you're resonating with them. So that's really all I'm going to say on this one, because I did send you an email, but
I just saw it.
Okay, so I did send you a list, and the list is primarily when you were talking about actors. And so that Excel sheet that I sent you is really about how they rotate all those actors.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'll definitely look at that.
So you'll love that one. And then the second thing I wanted to say is, do you know who Gerard Mobius is?
No.
Okay, so
But
I
I did see the name in your email.
Okay, so he's somebody that we should look up, because as you talk to people about, I'm sure people say, well, what is next year going to look like? And what's the year after going to look like? And that's all, we all wonder what it's going to be like, because we're programmed to, think ahead and plan ahead, right? And the most important thing I think I've ever done is really just honor my spiritual self, right? And really just like go in here and find out what's over here and what's over there, without being like a spiritual Illuminati. But Gerard Mobius was somebody that was one of the main inspirations for a lot of the Star Wars backdrops. Like he painted them.
Yeah.
And in his books, he really was the one put into this whole mix to show what things are, how they think it's going to look after 2040, 2045. And it's all animated. The writing is beautiful. There's clues in the narrative that show that we're in a construct. I mean, it's so obvious once you know, then you kind of like maze through it. And I think it would be kind of an essential guide for you.
Okay. All right. So, well, I wonder if he, what's that guy in the 70s that had that existential moment on his, as soon as the mailman, he answered the door for the mailman. What's it? Something Dick, something. He's the one that wrote all those movies, like the Adjustment Bureau. He concluded that we live inside of a simulation. He concluded this in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Somebody knows his name. Something Dick. I can't remember. Franklin. No. I cannot believe I cannot remember this guy's name after reading this book.
I don't know. I've only seen 3 movies in my whole life.
Wow. And that's coming from Philip K. Dick. Thank you, J Bing. Philip K. Dick. Yeah. I was wondering if Mobius has any experience dialoguing with Philip K. Dick. He was a pioneer in the 1970s. He had a very strange thing happen to him he was just a normal guy, and then someone knocked on his door, and it wasn't even, it was just something totally innocuous. There was nothing mysterious about the mailman. It just knocked on the door in 1976 or 1977. He answered the door, and when the man gave him a package, he lived several lifetimes in just a space of few seconds. And then his story sounds sensational, but you have to weigh that against what he did immediately afterward. Immediately afterward, he wrote some of the best stories that became blockbuster movies for the next 30 years. Philip K. Dick, his story is amazing, but he believes that something happened to him in that nanosecond when he opened the door for the mailman, and that he walked away from when he closed that door, he was convinced that we're living inside of a simulation, and he wrote many badass movies for Hollywood.
Well, we might all be in the movie business after this.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last thing I wanted to say is over the weekend, I went to the Richmond area. So I live in Northern California, and somebody was selling a pack of old letters for like $5 or $10. I can't remember. And I just went. I had no business getting in the car and going to do this, but I did do it. And the Richmond has a lot of old war buildings on it. Anyway, I grabbed a letter. I have a whole pack of them. Do you collect letters? Is that one of the things you collect?
I don't really collect old letters, but I do have a bunch of them because many of the books that I've purchased from antique stores, they don't look in them. And I found letters from the 1910s, 20s, 30s, 40s. Yeah. I found love notes that soldiers have written back stateside. I mean, I've bought a lot of antique books, and I find all kinds of stuff in them.
Okay, well, I'm bringing this up. None of us needs another project, but when I read this particular letter, and it's a pack of letters from one war vet to somebody in West Virginia, and I can't tell if it's his mother, if it's his sister, if it's a girlfriend, but he basically describes his military experience. And I'll send this one to you too, and highlight the parts which I think are important. But in here, he definitely talks about how they are in a simulation. He's like, yesterday we went and we had this guerrilla warfare where, they wanted to see how much we were going to resist the lack of food deprivation, and then they monitor what the behavior is going to be like, and then they collect that data, which is pretty consistent with all of the data that the psychiatrists and the psychologists who are studying people do. But in here, this is just an innocuous letter from one person to another, and I believe that the person who was receiving the letters actually took the letters and gave them to whatever operative needed to know what he was writing. That's one. Second thing is on the return envelope, the return address. So this guy was based in Okinawa, but the return address on the envelope said San Clemente, California. So I called one of my girlfriends in New Mexico who was married to a vet, and I said, so did they run these simulation camps for real, like at different bases? And she goes, oh, yeah. So that's another conversation because I don't want to hog up all the time. But that means that these people might not necessarily have even traveled to these places, but were told they did. And they literally think they were gone. And you probably already know that too. I did not know that part.
Yeah. I'm well aware about how memories can be implanted.
Yeah.
Subliminal implantation it's a real phenomenon. Police detectives are trained to identify it. It's really weird how the human mind works because 4 or 5 different people can watch the exact same crime, and every single one of them will notice different details and then build a mental narrative around those details, and the police are left with 5 completely opposing narratives, and they don't know who's telling the truth. This happens over and over. It's like the game of Chinese whispers. You've heard of that? Yeah, you just take 20 people in a circle, whisper one thing, and just tell the person to repeat exactly what you whisper, and it never, after it gets to, it's because people
Right.
process information differently. They'll change syntax, they'll do something, and by the time the 20th person gets it, it has nothing to do with what the original message was. So
Right.
it's yeah, I know that memory is a fragile thing, and
Yeah.
I've had to guard against the very fact that, I mean, I've had a lot of time to think about my life, Sarita, and I've had to go in, pull out original paperwork and go to look through stuff, because sometimes it's like, damn, we tend to remember what we want and forget significant details because, you know, they're not flattering or whatever. And then after a period of years goes by, you're relating the event to someone else, and I'll be talking to my dad, and my dad will tell me, no, that's not how it would happen. Actually, it was your brother. And I'm like, what? So I mean, these are it's, yeah, memory is something else. So I know the military has conducted all kinds of mnemonic exercises against soldiers just to see this type of stuff. I mean, hell, that's what the Monroe Institute was about.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's barbarian.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's all I got today.
Awesome. And you gave it up yourself. I'm still not going to name him, but you gave it up yourself a minute ago when you mentioned Star Wars.
I embarrassed myself.
All right, Sarita, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. Let's see here. I think we got Mr. Gilmore coming in. What's up, Dennis?
Hey, too bad. You're Jason?
What's going on?
Not too much. I was just thinking, I was writing down notes, what I wanted to ask you and stuff. I was thinking, whatever differences we might have had, because I'm a pain in your ass, right? I'm prepared to come to Texas.
I'd answer your comment on Archaix Underground. You responded to my comment, and I sent you another answer back.
Yeah, no, I got that. I was just saying I should come to Texas. We can have it out, but I got to ask you first. Is it true you can walk around Texas with a loaded pistol right on your hip?
Well,
that's legal? Okay, so I'm with my Colt 45 Peacemaker, and I'm sure we'll have peace. Just a little joke.
I don't want to tell you, Dennis, I don't want to tell you anything wrong. You have to understand, Texas permits only cover Texas. So you coming from another country, you might have to check in with local law enforcement.
Wow. Every American can pretty much easily get a gun, or visitors too. I imagine if I really wanted to.
Oh my God! Listen, man, there's assault rifles everywhere out here. There's guns out here, shotgun. Yeah, you already know how Texas is. You already know how the United States is. The United States already has a bunch of guns. Texas has more.
Yeah, that's why, you know, all the crazy stuff going on in the world. I've heard so many theories. They can't really invade the United States. They got too many Americans, too many guns. Even though they got drones and all kinds of wacky weapons, it's just not going to fly in America, right? Do you agree?
America's a very big place, and there's a bunch of liberal strongholds that would be very easy to take over quick. But yeah, Texas is not one of them. Texas is packed full of military bases. It also has a huge population of 40-something million people that are armed to the teeth, and it's a whole different. Texas is very different than a lot of the United States. There's some other southern states like Texas, but there's some other beautiful states too, like New Mexico. I love New Mexico, but it's empty. New Mexico's empty, so people live very spread out. But in Texas has massive metropolitan areas. I mean, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's 6-7 million people right there. Houston area, there's 5 million people right there, and all the cities in between them. Texas is a lot of people, but it's a police state. I live in a police state, meaning you're not doing nothing in Texas without local law enforcement being everything. We've got everything from park rangers, highway patrol, the state troopers. Then you got your sheriffs. All I ever see out here is sheriffs and game wardens, because I live way out in the country, and I don't even live near the city limits. And the nearest town to me is Willis. Willis, Texas is small, but it's far away. So I live way out in the county. So I really don't have hardly any restrictions out here. Don't have anything going on. But we just see sheriff's deputies out here. You don't even see city police out here, and game wardens hang out because I live on the lake. So, but other than that, no, man, it's still a great place to live.
But isn't it like everyone's loaded up in Texas? You can walk around with a loaded gun in your holster on your hip. So
people got pistols everywhere. But yeah, a lot of women. We have open carry. We have open carry in Texas. So I still have a few years to go before I can even apply for any weapons license, because I've only been out of prison a certain amount of years. So I've got all my voting rights back, and I've got all that. But when it comes to firearms, because I'm an ex-felon, I still have to wait a while.
But are the police and there's more police in Texas when everyone's armed because they need more police because everyone's armed? Or are they more respectful? I would think there'd be, since everyone's armed, they're going to be, police pull you over. They're going to be more careful with you. Like,
I see what you're referring to. Listen, now Texas is a world by itself. I have never had a problem with law enforcement here. All of them out here in the county know me. They know where I live. All that stuff you see on TV with YouTube videos with local law enforcement being disrespectful, I've never seen that. That's not been my experience. And nowhere in the local news, anywhere in this area, Texas law enforcement, they're real respectful around here. They don't go around abusing their power and all that stuff. No, I don't see none of that. And believe me, being an ex-felon, being an ex-convict, if it was going on, I wouldn't have any trouble talking about it, but it's just not.
Yeah, I've seen those videos, and it's just entertainment to scare people. I guess people, you get a skewed view. Whether you're watching fiction or you're watching CNN, it's another version of fiction. It's just you get the skewed views until you're actually there.
Yeah, they're not trying to lock people up. I mean, I got in some trouble with some YouTubers. YouTubers got me in a lot of trouble with law enforcement. I willingly went to jail for 11 and a half days. I told the judge just to do away with 2 years of probation because it was some really stupid stuff. And they weren't trying to throw me away. They weren't trying to lock me up or anything like that. The judge was just curious as to why I wouldn't take probation. She says, "Well, you haven't done anything to lock you up. It's just stupid minor misdemeanor stuff. I can't understand why you would go to jail." I says, "No." I says, "You're asking me to do 24 months on probation, and I haven't really done shit." I says, "Listen, my NCICS record absolutely proves to this court that if I wanted to F up, I'm qualified to do that." I says, I've been doing real good for 9 years, and there is no way in hell. If I wanted to commit felonies, believe me, I'm qualified. I know how. I says, this is bullshit, and there's no way I'm doing 24 months probation on that. So the court turned around and says, "Well, I mean, what do you think we should do about it? I mean, it's still a misdemeanor. We still got to do something." I said, "Listen, tell me how many days I got to spend in your county jail, and when I get out, I'm a free man, and all this gets put behind me." So she told me straight out, "Okay, cool, 11 days." I did the 11 days, got out and absolutely free. But here, I don't have that experience here in Texas where they're just trying to lock you up and throw away the key. It's not my experience. It's I see people talking about it. They think Texas is because everybody's armed and all the police, and we got so much law enforcement and military here. They think it's a real bad place. It's not. It's like everybody in the United States is moving to Texas. I mean, our infrastructure is exploding. They're rebuilding all the highways and everything because so many people have moved here in the last 5 years. So yeah, I can't imagine living anywhere else. I love this area.
Well, I'm in Alberta province, and there's some talk here about it becoming the 51st state of the United States. So we might get better gun rights because in Alberta you can get guns, but it's not as easy as Texas.
Yeah, Canada's huge.
Pretty big.
Canada's gigantic, man. And I just don't. If it wasn't for those liberal strongholds in the big cities, Canada would be an awesome place to live. Listen, when I first got out of prison, I could not stop watching my nephew Asher. My nephew Asher says, "Hey man, you might like this. This is all trailer park people and all this shit." I said, "What are you talking about, man? You saying I'm out of the trailer park or what?" He said, "No, man, it's out of Canada. You need to watch the show." As soon as I watched Trailer Park Boys, I couldn't stop. I watched every single episode. Yeah,
funny.
Trailer
So,
Park Boys had me puking. I was laughing so much.
Did you get my email before you got a hold of Mark Panso? Did he contact you, or you contact him?
No, I saw your email right before our show started, but I seen it mention Mark Passio, but I didn't have time to read it. The Mark Passio was mentioned when I did a video about 3 weeks ago asking my community. I said, hey man, I want really serious researchers that you guys resonate with. And Greg Braden's name came up, Mark Passio, David Icke, Michael Tessarion. We can reach out contacting all of them. I've already got see, Mark Passio's the day after tomorrow. Then Chuck Swindoll, Frank Jacob, Mark Devin, Jay Widener, Sabrina Wallace. They're all coming on the channel. Rupert Sheldrake politely declined. Said he was overbooked for 6 months. I don't know if that's true now that I found out that him and Graham Hancock are pretty cool. I'm still waiting on Greg Braden, David Icke, and about 30 other people to respond.
I took Mark Passo's tech course in 2023, and I sent an email or whatever to an acquaintance. So I was just curious if that influenced Mark to chat with you or not. It'd be a really good interview.
What do you mean a tech course? What was tech on what?
Oh, Mark Passo teaches a 6-month technology course, how to become the true media. I took it in 2023.
Okay. Oh, so is he what is it, systems development or coding or anything or
all the basics of how to use the computers? A lot of people just don't know, and to try and get
okay. All right. Okay, I didn't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Because people take a seminar to get the tech skills to then teach natural law. He's big into natural law, worldwide freedom, and not all of the police state and all the governments. The government is slavery. That's one of his presentations. I've got a Substack stuff. I like his stuff. I think he's got the right understanding, but it's very difficult to implement in this world. It's become such a police state. I mean, 1776, the Americans, 3% fought the British and won temporarily and had pretty much no government or very, very small. But now look, worldwide American empire around the world. All the guns and all that, right? Crazy stuff.
Passio seems like a very intriguing guy. He's I listened to 2 presentations. I'm probably going to listen to one more before I talk to him, just to familiarize myself a little bit more. But it's I'm not inviting anybody to the channel to debate. Anybody I invite, you like Flat Earth Dave or like Micah Dank. I didn't agree with anything Micah Dank said, but you know what? Still treated him with the utmost respect while he's on my channel. So Passio seems to be, from the 2 videos I got, he seems to be a lot like me, and I was kind of taken aback by that, but I've never listened to him before.
To watch a few of his latest podcasts. He's like, he's really angry. He's been doing this for decades, and it doesn't seem people are really getting it, But
I understand angry. I get it.
Yeah.
I do get it. Are you still involved in Chordal?
Yeah. I'm still figuring that out. What do you think of that? Have you checked it out?
No. I haven't had time to check all that. I just got a good memory. I remember your name, and you were messing with the Chordal network. Yeah,
it's 100% decentralized. They can't control it except to try and make some laws and try and hunt you down if you use it. But that, like this, whatever it looks like your new Archaix underground is you create your own URL and then you're pointing it to the editor, sort of like what I do on Substack. I've got my own domain name, but it's a Substack editor. And but it's still a centralized platform. If for whatever reason they want to kick you off, they can. So you lack a certain amount of control. Whereas Chordal, they can't do that. Totally decentralized.
Yeah, I get it.
But I don't think the people of the world really care. If you've got like a subscription thing and you're doing it privately, that they leave you alone. They're not going to care.
No, they want anybody who's out there telling the truth. They love having them behind paywalls because they know exactly where that community is, and they're always going to assign some agents to go in there and monitor everything that's going on in there so they can report it. I've been monitored since day one. Since about being on YouTube after 6 months, and I was putting all the Phoenix stuff out. That's when I first started getting the strange monitoring going on. But I don't care. I've been at meetups in the middle of a meetup speech and actually invited anybody from the intelligence community to come up there and talk, man. And you ain't got to sit there and spy on me. I'll tell you straight up what I'm about. Just
I like that latest video you did about going back in time, 1902, and adding the years and then subtracting. And why did you stop at 1969 or something?
Because I'm going to do another video, and it's politically sensitive, and there's people in the UK that really need to know, because I did go through. I did follow that research through. I went all the way to 2032. Well, we got some really serious shit happening in 2020, 26, 27, and 2028, but it's happening to different people. And I'm going to end up, I did continue that research. 2026 does not look good for the UK at all. It doesn't mean that on an individual level things are going to be happening, but as a political entity, things are going to get really rough in 2026 in the UK. Maybe it spill over in 2027, but in 2027 is going to start a bunch of shit here in the United States. But in 2028, we're going to have like a total revolutionary patriotic rebirth in 2028. It is not going to go the way people think. 2028 is going to be almost, it's almost going to be like a resurrection of the United States, which is something I predicted 5 years ago, but it's going to go down for totally different reasons. And I don't want to talk too much about it right now, because it's people need to see it. Just like you saw the 1902 going forward and backward in time show, I'm going to show it, but I have to show it from more than just 1902. I'm going to have to show it also from 1973 and 1998, because those are the two other real big isometric epicentral dates where time space seems to be rippling forward and backward in time. 1998 is the biggest. It's the one that Edgar Casey concentrated on. So it's it's a good question. It's a good question, Dennis, but because it was a sensitive matter and I was really trying to just focus on 1902 and show how important it was, I didn't want to go any further. I didn't want to go any further because 2026 is a whole video by itself.
Well, the pattern I saw, well, I sent you an email about it. Did you get my email, or you got me on filter?
Are you talking about when you mentioned 1779?
1776, yes, because 1764 is the last reset.
Oh yeah,
1776. Years, 1776, American Revolution, and then
yes.
Added that to 2040.
Yeah, I read it. Yeah. So yeah, when you carry the pattern further, it blows your mind. But I didn't want to do that in that one video, because the video was very specific to getting people to understand how important 1902 was in time space. But as far as the future goes, it's totally separate video. We'll be using 1902 again, but we're also going to be using 1998 and 1973. Those are big ones.
I just thought it was very interesting. 1776 would correlate to 2052 when the dark satellite comes. There's a worldwide battle for American type revolutionary war around the world. I don't know. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it is. It's yeah. 2028 is not. 2028 is going to be just here. 2028. Almost every empire that fell shortly before its fall, it had a Renaissance period. And even Rome did. Even Rome experienced one for a while. This is what 2028 is going to be. It's going to be like a renaissance of about 10 years for the United States, and it's going to get bad. But we'll get to that in another predictions video, because people, I don't want to just throw things out there without people seeing them, just like you saw in the 1902 video. You got to see it lined out to understand why these things are happening the way they're happening. But 2020, I don't want to talk about 2052 right now until I do some more, do at least another video on the chronometry of the Statue of Liberty, because most people don't know that the Statue of Apollo, which is the Statue of Liberty, actually has a chronometrical countdown to 2052 embedded in the architecture, and there's a reason for that. But I think you know what I'm talking about. But the 168 steps to the torch, but. That's another video. I mentioned it in my Anunnaki homeworld, but I didn't really go into a lot of detail. Oh, speaking of Anunnaki homeworld, man, do I have this picture right now? My very first Chronicon book is done. It's off the press. My publisher has already got the cover on it, and we're just waiting for him.
I bought one a few weeks back, and it went up to 476 AD. I think is that the Chronicon? I got the right one.
That's just the title. It actually goes all the way up to the future. If you open it all the way up and scroll down.
Okay. I'll check it out again.
If you click onto it and scroll all the way down, it actually goes all the way to 2106.
2106. Okay, cool.
So I don't have a picture of it right now. My new book is the Pre-Flood World, Chronicon, Volume 1. The subtitle is 3,000 Years Leading Up to the Great Flood. But that book should be published next week. It's done.
Right. So I gotta ask you this because I've been curious. So prior to 2239 BC, the Great Flood, nothing was written down. You're saying nothing written down.
Well, we don't have anything. There's nothing written down. Everything that we have in the historical record, all the pictograms, all the attempts at writing and all that, that's all post reset. That's all. It almost all started showing up after the year 2000 BC, which 2000 BC, that's still a long time, Dennis. 239 years after the reset.
So how can it be accurate 239 years after? That's my question.
Yeah, well, that's 2000 BC.
Prior. What's that?
Yeah, prior to 2039.
Prior to 2039, nothing written down. And then 200 years after the Great Flood, stuff's written down. Like I just can't follow how that's accurate.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, I've already asserted many times that because writing seems to have been developed right at the exact same time that scientists say that almost the entire world was destroyed, 2300 BC. It's then writing was post reset, which tells me that the pre-flood world was technologically advanced and the writing was preserved in other ways, not on clay, not on stone tablets, not on pillars, none of that. That's all post reset. That's all by the survivors as they're trying to preserve information, come up with some type of writing system. You have to understand, if the world was repopulated by survivors, then that means the first generation were basically illiterate. They're the children of people who barely survived a cataclysm. And then their grandchildren, I mean, we're talking about 200 to 240 years after the reset is around the year 2000 BC. And this is when all of a sudden we have the Chinese pictograms look just like Sumerian logograms. And it's like, damn, here's two different cultures, but they almost have identical symbols and identical phonetics attached to certain symbols. And so it seems like common origin, but it's still post reset. And this is what the reason I believe that writing was all post reset is because we have absolutely nothing from the pre-flood world that was written down. Every tradition of the pre-flood world is a post reset composition. You know, people love to talk about how ancient the Sanskrit and how ancient the Vedic literature is and all that. But when you consult the Sanskrit scholars, they tell you straight out that 1850 BC is the absolute earliest that any Sanskrit documents were ever composed. So you find out the Vedic literature is the 11th century BC. It's like, damn, we've been told in all these books and everybody's trying to tell us that how far back different cultures go. Egyptian hieroglyphs go back to 3400 BC. But when you actually look at the scholarly monographs, they all admit, man, we don't have any actual writings from ancient Egypt until about 1800 BC. It's just assumed because all these people that educate us are educating us through a filter called uniformitarianism. And when you educate somebody through uniformitarianism, you have to assume that if anything enters the field, then it did so after long time development. So the assumption is Egyptian hieroglyphs must go back to 3000 BC. But to actually find any that go back to 3000 BC has never been done. And Professor L.A. Waddell in the 1940s and 50s published books about this. saying, man, we have to correct this whole chronological deal because you guys keep saying that this dude Means lived in 3100 BC and all that, but here's Means right here. His name is Anum of Sumer. It's the same person. It says the anagram right here is Manastushu. Manastushu right here is Manas in ancient India, but at Mohenjo-Daro he ruled for a while too as Mani. And then in the Vedic records he was called Manu. And every single one of these monuments here date at the 18th century BC. So he totally corrected the ancient Egyptian chronology and showed that none of this writing, none of this stuff dates to near the time period that we've been led to believe. And then when we find out why these things were dated that way, in every instance, we find out that it was not an archaeological discovery that got writing dated to 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, the 30th century BC. In every instance, it is an assumption that since we found cuneiform dated in the 17th century BC, well, we have to assume that they didn't just make it up overnight. So it is the development of centuries. So since we know that this culture over here took 600 years to develop from their full system of writing, we can stamp that same 600 years right here on Egyptian hieroglyphs. Yeah, so this is why I publish these things like this, because there's no one that's ever going to be able to show an archaeological artifact that shows that hieroglyphs actually existed at that time, 3000 BC. It's all uniformitarian assumption.
Okay, so but if so, you got a worldwide cataclysm, and it's a trauma, and it takes hundreds of years for people to start remembering and writing stuff down, clay tablets, and developing writing. So how accurate can it be, though? Like, isn't there a collective trauma that would cause shock, false memories? You were just talking to the last lady about how fragile our memories are. They could be false memories.
Okay, I can answer that. I can definitely answer that. Okay, I'm gonna use a scenario of you and I. So let's say Typhon flood happens 2239 BC. You and I know the world we just came from was technologically advanced. We had vehicles. We had all-terrain vehicles. We've left tracks, mud tracks that have been fossilized. Our water was delivered in pipe systems. We had metallurgy. We had all these things, like the Book of Enoch says. Book of Enoch says all these different agrarian, agriculture, and metallurgical sciences were all thriving before the flood. Let's assume that we lost our entire infrastructure. You and I preserve some tools because we're handymen, and we got our tools, and we got these things that 200 years later they're not even going to be identifiable. Nobody's going to know what they are. But there's another group in Turkey at a city called Derinkuyu, and they've got libraries preserved underground while me and you are fishing to get our food. They've got years and years and years stockpiled because they kind of knew something bad was about to happen. Over here in China, people are thriving. China didn't get really hit hard. They're already coming together within 100 years and building an infrastructure and cities in the Yangtze Valley, and they're starting to build this pyramid, and they're becoming more centralized, and they're developing writing and all that. But they had a head start. They had a head start because many of the people from the pre-flood world that remember engineering and remember plumbing and electrical and all these things are able to jumpstart it faster over there. But while you and I are stuck with our toolboxes and we're fishing every day, thinking we're the only survivors around. But in the Americas, North America is totally wiped out. But in Central America, around Ecuador, there's over 1 million people who survived, and they are flooding South America, already building Pumapunka, Tiahuanaco, Cuzco, Ollantaytambo. They're building all this badass infrastructure. It's just like the 1940s. Technologically advanced American GIs landed in Pacific Islands around Neolithic peoples who had not seen an airplane in their entire life, who were wearing straw around their midsections like it was clothes. cargo cult phenomenon isn't modern. It goes all the way back to ancient times. Every single reset, every single cataclysm. When the great flood of Noah happened, it wasn't as the biblical narrative depicts. You had technologically advanced infrastructure that collapsed everywhere, but the level of collapse differed in different areas. Some people still had information preserved in whatever way they had it preserved. Other people survived in the underworld. I believe that before the flood, people were using tablets just like this. Here's my tablet right here. I believe people were using tablets, and it's the core reason why tablets in cuneiform were the main mode of communication. They don't have technologically advanced tablets, but I remember my grandfather talking about they preserved information on tablets. So they talk about how can we do that? Well, I know this: when the sun comes out after a hard rain, that clay gets real hard. I wonder if we can burn it. So it doesn't take very long for them to come up with a system of making tablets out of clay, preserving information on them, putting them in a kiln, hard firing them, and there. Where did they learn that? They learned it from the Typhon flood, because right after the great flood, the sun appeared in the sky and burned the ground. And that's why we have fossilized footprints all over the world. That's why we have fossilized track marks all over the world. That's why we have fossilized melted buildings all over the world. Whatever happened during the Typhon flood, it was systemic, destroyed everything, destroyed our technologies. But the reason people started writing on cuneiform tablets, clay tablets, was because they remember in the days of their forefathers, information was preserved on tablets. I believe this is the key to understanding the handbags and another mystery from the Sumerian records. One Zechariah Sitchin talked about a lot. And it's the fact that there is a word called me, M-E, in Sumerian. And the me's are described as tablets. And sometimes the tablet of destinies was called the me of the Dingir, the me of the gods. The me's were tablets that you could communicate to other gods with, that you could make machinery move, that you could command men with, that you could talk to your family with. The me is described as being able to communicate, telecommunications, do all kinds of things. But the me's that they had could also move objects, which means it's probably Wi-Fi, using Wi-Fi in order to control tractors or different mechanisms. So I believe the tablet that we have today answers many of the mysteries of the ancient world, especially the development of writing, and the very first thing that we recorded writing on, burned clay tablets.
Interesting. So the Nuna would have gone underground since 2239 BC. You think a lot of them are still vast cities and structures underground?
I think you and I are both descended from a Nuna. I think the Anuna, I mean, even in, I don't agree with a lot of things Zechariah Sitchin said, especially chronologically, but he makes a very good point when he talks about where are the Anunnaki today. He said, it would be us. I mean, the whole idea of what the Anuna were trying to accomplish was basically creating another race where they could be compatible with those they found on the surface. And this is the origin of the sons of God coming into the daughters of man. There was no angels having sex with human women to create giants. That's not even what the story's conveying. Sons of God were just a different race than the race of the daughters of men. The sons of God brought technology. According to the book of Enoch, that's what the Watchers brought. The Watchers brought how to make weapons, how to make tools, how to plant crops, how to make herbs, how to make spermicides, how to make medicines, how to cook properly, how to make tools. It taught all these people, but in exchange for that, the Watchers wanted something. They wanted the daughters of men, which means a technologically advanced race of people who were very tall and bearded lost everything. And when they came into contact with Neolithic peoples, the peoples who preserved these oral traditions, they thought they were gods, just like Votan and Viracocha were humans with beards. But the ancient South Americans regard them as gods, just like the people of Ecuador thought Boquica was a god, but he was just a bearded, probably a Caucasian guy who had a small navy or army of people, and he brought gifts and brought all kinds of things, and they highly regarded him, and he said he was going to return, and he's just like Quetzalcoatl. It's the exact same story over and over. The same story told by the Melanesians, the Polynesians, the Pacific Islanders, the Hawaiians. The story is known. Thor Heyerdahl recorded in 4 books that this same story is told everywhere. Everywhere, it's the same story. So I just think that we are the descendants of Anuna. Everybody in the world today. Now there is an exception, and people are going to call me racist, but so be it. So be it. But there is a massive difference in geography between the whole world and Central South Africa. And what I mean is that Central and South Africa is like a utopia. It is a heaven. It is a Edenic paradise. It's got everything. All these unique animal forms got deals. And this is where your African stock people are from. But they have this almost impassable barrier. Have you ever looked at a map and saw how massive the Sahara Desert is? Going from east to west on Africa, it's almost impossible. You're going to die before you cross that. And for thousands and thousands of years, these people were here. They were here. And this is why they have no flood traditions. This is why many of their myths and legends are totally different. They have been very, very isolated, isolated away. This tradition of the gods appearing and mixing their seed and all that, those aren't found in Africa either. Africa has very unique. I have a whole library full of African traditions and legends. They're just so different than everything that you read from the Native American, from the Americas, which are very close to the Chinese and the Japanese. They're so very different. It's like almost like Aboriginal, except the Aborigines of Australia are Caucasians. Most people don't know this because they see them as dark, black skinned, but they're not. They are black skinned, but their genetics is Caucasian. And I don't know if you knew that, but that's the Aboriginals of Australia, which are really close to being Dravidic. So I'm meandering, but Zechariah Sitchin was correct. The most ancient traditions concern a bunch of males that showed up after some type of disaster, and they get along with the more Neolithic primitive people they come in contact with who have a bunch of females. So they make a deal. And the Book of Enoch is literally telling us that the Watchers, called Watchers because they got big eyes, all Asiatic peoples represent Caucasians with big round eyes. Even the statue called the Teraphim, all throughout the Near East. There's a species of statues, little household idols that people put up in their mantles and over their fireplaces and over their doors, and they're called teraphim. The teraphim were regarded as watchers or owl-eyed. This is how Asiatic peoples depict us in art, just like when Caucasians depict Orientals. Asiatic people, we always give them slits. They don't have slits for eyes. They've got epicanthic folds that gives them almond-shaped eyes. But the epicanthic fold isn't something Caucasians have. So we just give them a slit, just like they give us saucer eyes. And these statues have been found all over the Near East showing these. And this is where the legend of the Watchers come from. But it was originally just the Anuna. The Anuna traded what little technological artifacts they had for the one thing that was most important to them, which was the fact is they came as all males on a fleet of ships, and they needed females. And that's the origin of this whole entire Anunnaki story.
Why would they need ships though if they wouldn't have more advanced technology to fly over?
We're talking post-cataclysm. We're talking about the cataclysm was already over. By the time the Anuna showed up, by the time the Watchers and Anuna showed up to exchange the remnants of their technology for human women, the story of Genesis 6, cataclysm's already over with. It's done. I don't know if they had a way to fly at all. I don't even know if the ships are conventional wooden ships or if there was something else. We don't even know if they didn't arrive by submarine. We don't know.
That's 34, 39 BC. You're talking that date, right?
I'm talking about after Oh yeah, 3439 BC, the Gihon flood. 1/3 of the human race is destroyed. Yes.
So, but all these precise dates, I'm still a little confused. Oh, so 2239, everything collapses. There might be, you know, some not as bad as others, some living underground. But wouldn't those Anuna have to come up to ground and give people more those accurate, very precise dates that you have going back to 5239 BC? Like, how can you get such accurate numbers with survivors who are just so kind of traumatized?
So you really don't know how we've dated the flood at 2239 BC.
Remind me. I just sort of went with what your date.
Okay, well, Archaix is all about chronology, and I have probably over 100 presentations that absolutely show the solid, irrefutable network of chronological dates linking the 138-year Phoenix phenomenon, the 792-year Nemesis phenomenon, the Nemesis X object, the Mayan long counts, 144,000 days per Bacton for a total of 1,872,000 days, the Anuna Nur system of 216,000 days, making a 600-year epic, and every single one of these are perfectly synthetic all the way through, going through thousands of years. I'm surprised you didn't know that already, as long as you've been listening to me. But the 2230,
it's like it was all verbal up until 2239, right?
Oh, I see where you're going with that. Okay, I get that. I get that. So, another presentation that you obviously missed is that I did a pretty deep dive on that question right there, and based off what I've discovered about 1902 and how all these books and all these translations just suddenly appeared with all these inventions and all this amazing stuff just suddenly appeared in the world. Things that we take for granted today, like air conditioning, matches, all these things that we have in our hardware stores and in our kitchens right now, all appeared in one year, 1902. And I provide these lists. And in my, I believe the video is called Libraries of the Deep. I could be wrong, could be a different video. But I go through all my evidence of where I'm pretty sure that there's a breakaway civilization in the underworld that's always kept libraries, it's always kept the times, it's always released that information back into the public sector only after each 138-year period. I show examples of this in 1764 as well. So yeah, when we say a systemic reset, I'm going to tell you now. Right now, as you're listening to my voice, there are areas all over the world of abject poverty, accompanied with a total dearth of knowledge about how the world truly is. There are villages in the world today, right now. People don't have a clue what year it is. They're living hand to mouth. And there are still people living as Neolithic in Africa and in South America. That hasn't changed in thousands of years. They're still hunting rabbits to eat. And yet, here you and I are talking on social media late at night, looking at computer terminals and screens that these other people who are alive right now can't even fathom, can't even imagine. Right. But the historical record is just the same. Just like I told you about 30 minutes ago, when the Great Typhon flood happened in 2239 BC in the month of May, which has been dated. You should really watch some of my flood videos showing you all the scientific dating. I'm talking about very precise, very amazing chronological revelations that show this is the precise date of the Typhon flood.
But yeah, I guess I'm always confused because thinking if it's all verbal after
destruction isn't what I'm saying is the destruction is never going to be as systemic in all places. There's going to be survivors some places. We already know Darren Kuyu and 58 other underground cities in Turkey survived. So if hundreds of thousands of people survived in underground cities that have been archaeologically proven to be there, mapped out and documented, why are we to assume that they didn't also preserve a whole bunch of that history? I don't know, but I do know this. I know that the Archaix chronology is unrefuted. And I know that you could put together a full dissertation about it, and we could revisit that on YouTube. You're not going to like what happens to you about it because there's no way you're going to disentangle. You can be as confused all you want, but I can already tell, Dennis, that you have not been through any of my chronological data for me to even dignify this with a response, because I have more source materials for the dates that I've provided than you'll ever be able to disentangle. That says, I'm a little offended, man, that you would ask questions that most of my Archaix veterans already know the answers for. Kind of makes me wonder why you're even really here.
That's all right, man. I'm just confused as to if it's not written down until after 2239, like it would have to be Anuna coming out, giving them records, assisting in some way. That's always been kind of a block.
Listen, you can continue to be confused, but in your confusion, you need to know that there are different calendrical systems that you can measure from the 11th century BC back to the 20th century BC. And just using those calendars, you can extrapolate and go backward in time another 2,000 or 3,000 years to 5239 BC. And all the dates match up perfectly. All of them. It's hard to talk to you about this because it's very obvious to me now that you know nothing about chronology. You have not even paid attention to any of those presentations. So I don't mind you disbelieving or being a critic or trying to poke holes into a theory, but that's all it is it's just verbal jousting right now. Because if you were to put these thoughts on paper, I would present them to my community, and then I would completely give a refutation. That's an invitation, Dennis. If you have any problems with the Phoenix thesis at all, or the Archaix chronology, I am inviting you right now to put your issues and problems on paper, and I will present them to my community, and then I'm probably going to embarrass you.
That's no problem. But yeah, it might be good to go through more in detail. I just sort of I've always been kind of, if it's a matrix and it's kind of illusion anyway, it's like I'm always looking at what's the symbol or the metaphor behind what the five senses detect. And I'm not so more higher abstract. I'm not into the nitty gritty details so much sometimes, depending on what the issue is, right? That's sort of the way I think.
Yeah, well, another thing you might want to look into is chronometry, because there are many ancient monuments that are actually calendars, and they're very easy to decode.
Right. Yeah, and I do remember that one video you did about the Egypt Serpender's Petrie and the whole Egyptian.
That's a good example. That's a good example. That's one.
Yeah, all that precise measurements and all those dates and stuff, all precise dates. So those are very strong markers. And it's just it's almost like supernatural. Whoever created it wanted us to know those nitty gritty details, and they've encoded it in stone. And they would have to just, like you say, Enoch, whoever was in charge of that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to listen, man. I'm going to be totally honest with you, Dennis. I said, like I said, you've been given that invitation. If you need help from somebody, because I got several critics out there, you can network with them. Like I said, I am eager. I have been waiting for somebody to publicly challenge the Archaix chronology, because, man, I've been holding back, and I'm looking for a victim, 100%. So you might want to reach out to Chief Ironbush. You might want to reach out to James True. You might want to reach out to Marty Leeds of Gnostic Academy. All of y'all can work together on it. Put your refutation out there, and I will give answer, because I'm getting real tired of people, talking and not actually, putting stuff up. I'm from Texas, man. You put up or shut up.
A couple of days now, you're talking to Mark Pasto. I know he's done a lot of research on the Anunnaki and sort of the alien intervention theory. He's got a lot of books he's read, and he's got some understanding on that. So that'll be an interesting talk if you want to ask him those kind of questions. He's done more research on that than I have, for sure.
Yeah, he'll be interesting to talk. I mean, there's a social etiquette that must be followed. And I had somebody offend that one time. I'm going to tell you now, Bro Sanchez asked me to come on the channel for a certain thing, give a certain deal talking about the Great Pyramid. So I got my pyramid research ready, and as soon as the show started, I realized, oh, okay, well, he didn't really invite me to talk. He wanted to give me the business about what he thinks the Great Pyramid is in front of his community. So I just let the show go down. That's what I figured it out real quick. So later on, we fell out, and that will never happen on my channel. There's never going to be a breach of etiquette. If I invite somebody to my channel, there's no debate. There's none of that stuff's going to happen. Now, if I call somebody out and they come on my channel and it's for a debate, that's a different story. That's a different story. But as far as just inviting people to my channel, now it's never going to be a debate scenario.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on, Dennis, to Moni. Moni's been waiting a while.
Yeah, I don't want to hold your time. Thanks for your time. All right.
I'll see you in Archaix Underground.
You bet. Bye.
Dennis and I have a lot of history. Probably not a bad fellow, but we have a lot of history. All right, I'm coming.
That's
there
what
you go.
That's what he said. All right, I'm here. And that's what she said. But man, your birthday is 6669, and the only reason I remember it is because it's my God code. So the other day, I'm not interested in. I'm not like a very good student, okay, of Archaix or anything else. I just take whatever works and leave the rest, you know. And,
you don't have to be.
So it just occurred to me, like, I wonder what the square root, and fuck if I know what, oh, sorry about that, but hell if I know what square root, you know, the exact of it, but something in me, and this doesn't happen very often out of the blue, you know, because I don't allow a lot of things in my brain without my consent kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it tells me to ask, and I did, and I asked it, and that was the square root of 2178 is 46.669, and your birth date is in there, my God code is in there, and I'm pretty sure.
What? Did you put that in a comment in Underground today?
I put it in X, on X, and
it was on Twitter. I read it today. I did read that. And I saw the number 46, and 40. Yeah, I saw that. I think
46.669. You know,
I know 46 years is 46 years is in months is divisible to 138. I remember the number. I remember 140. You gotta be curious now.
See,
it's kind of late. Oh, my phone died. I'll be damned.
And I've had mine plugged in all this time. It was getting hot.
Totally dead. Yeah, well, you look like you laid back. Where you at?
I'm at home.
Where's home at?
In my Clovis, California, Central Valley in California. And I'm originally from India. And you know, there are some synchronicities with your life, the way it unfolded in your young age, and my life. And my life was like, you know, I was raped when I was 16, and the guy went to prison for doing that to somebody else with his friend. So that kind of a synchronicity, you know. And and the guy who ended up being a Secret Service agent for one of these presidents, Obama, I think Obama's vice president, and that guy was my boyfriend, and that guy was in juvenile hall as a you know, I've just had these kind of synchronicities throughout my life. Just so many. And so I don't know how to understand them. I just say that some part of my soul told me that this too I'm supposed to be at, you know. And so I'm pretty sure that, you know, you're supposed to figure out something about the 2178 with those numbers, you know, so that puts you there.
Yeah, it's that number is just so bizarre. I remember when James Desmond Noor and I were first doing those printouts. It was hundreds of pages of printed out. It's like 2014 or 2013 or 2014. It was on the Estelle unit in Huntsville, and he had access to computer because he was a clerk.
Yeah.
And I used to give him everything what to do, and how I used to write all the program operations, and he would create the program, and we would run these mathematical sims. And I remember when he brought me the paperwork one night, and I'm going through it, and I'm like, what the hell? Look at this number. I remember discovering it, and I showed it to him. I says, hey, can we do some operations on this number? 2178 keeps looping over here, man. And all these other numbers keep going to 0. I need to see, is there a glitch in the computer? What's wrong with your computer, man?
Right.
So, yeah, this is crazy. And from a prison cell, this is how we figured this out. And yeah, we were just going, it took like 2 weeks going back and forth for us to realize that he's not messing up the VBA coding. He's not messing up the program. The computer's working just fine. We actually stumbled on something real. It was blowing our minds. Yeah.
See, and that with my God code, all I can say is it's guiding you because it's your birthday too in there, you know. So it's supposed to guide you that there's some answer there, you know. That's where your magic is. You got to figure out the other reality of the 2178.
Yeah, I already figured it out. It's the immortal number. It's proof that we're in a mathematical construct and we're actually all right. And all this bullshit happening around here, man, it's nothing, man. It's nothing.
And I've been
just
watching
passing
you
through.
since you had the mask on, and the first time I saw you with the mask on, and I'm like, this mother, you know, because you know it's a mask. I mean, I did not do the mask thing, right? But I understand that you were actually sick at that time. But you know that kind of blew my mind. But
hold on. You're misunderstanding something.
Huh?
I only have one video where I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And the mask I'm wearing, listen, the mask I'm wearing is a neoprene Harley Davidson motorcycle mask.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a medical mask.
I know.
I was even wearing sunglasses. I didn't even realize at the time that people were gonna equate that to wearing a mask for COVID.
Right.
I was just doing a unique video because I'm always on my motorcycle. So I did a video with my motorcycle mask on and my deal. But yeah, that's the mask. That's the video you're talking about.
That's the one I'm talking about. But it was enough to catch my attention, and I appreciate. Look, I've quit drinking like about 3 years ago, and on your birthday, nothing to do with you being that special. Okay, it's just 6'9" is like yin yang, and it's always been the number of life. You know. In my social in the dead center, it's like 696. I live across the street from 696. It's like that everywhere. And 69 is the day that 69 is the day that I got hypnotized and I quit smoking cigarettes after 27 years. And it's been like 3 months now. So and I really take to heart what you say about we create our reality. And for me, I have so many synchronicities every day of my life that I'm very blessed, you know, and I appreciate that you planted that little seed and you've done that for so many people, and God bless you for that.
Man, you got some great energy. I've never heard of Clovis, California, but I've been to Clovis, New Mexico.
Right next to Fresno State. I live like a mile from Fresno State.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well,
all right, Moni. Well, I got 2 more people waiting in here.
Hey, you take care of them, and thank you so much for your time, and stay blessed. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
All right.
We do this every 2 weeks, late at night.
That sounds good to me.
All right, later.
Okay, bye-bye.
FTW stage, man. What's up?
Right, I'll just get out of the chat again. I'm good. I'm great, thank you. I can't believe I'm here. I'm chewing on a bit of chocolate at the moment. Excuse me for that. And look, I really want to thank you for sending me the link through the email. I really appreciate it. I can't believe I'm actually here, but you've probably seen me reply to some of your X posts.
Yeah, I know your name well.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a bit of a character. I'm known as a bit of a character, and we're all our own person, but we've got to drive this vessel the best way we can, and looking after it is going to do you a lot of good. So I've been listening to a lot of people, and you included, and Campbell, just a whole list of people. London McLovin. I did at one time follow Chief Ironbush. You know, the loving vibe is always a good thing to have around you. I've followed John Levi for a lot of years, never said a bloody thing, just watched and look what he showed us. Who else? Campbell from Autodidactic, Tracy from Australia, Tartaria. Oh, yeah. My dinner's just walked in the door. Thank you, love. Excuse me for that. I'll just put that aside while I'm having a yarn. But yeah, all respect to you, Jason, for what you're doing. And you know, I can't say that from your. It's been from a lot of your information that I've gone and done a lot of my own research and looked at stuff. I had to move in from outside because I have a lovely little setup out there, but the rain started and I had to drive me in. The sound would have been too much, but I've been collecting.
Your audio is very good.
I've been collecting fossils here. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah.
And these here, that one's a pippy shell. I don't know where you can see that. Ooh, I'll bring it up to the camera a bit more. But these are things you find on our west coast. You know, they're pippy shells that exist still today. People eat them, and they're on the west coast. But I've got other ones here that came from the bloody Pacific Ocean, the east coast. And I've also got, oh, where are they? You must be in my pocket. Excuse me a moment. Bit disorganized. I had to move, so I put them in my pocket. But I've got these, which I've been fascinated by. Excuse me a moment. I'll hold one up. Now, this is a little tube shell. You can see right through them. They're like hollow right through. Where we are, there we are, like that, and they had a little snail in them, but I did a little bit of research on them and found out they're endemic to the North Pacific west coast, up along Alaska. But I don't know if they still exist there, whether that was their extinction. What I propose is that a large lump of tsunami mud got blown off the top of an undersea seamount volcano and just ejected thousands of bloody miles across the earth. And one blob just happened to land where I found them, because there's none other around the area. It's like, how the hell did that get there, you know? So, you know, I'm fascinated by fossils, and I've even got one here like that, a scallop shell. You can see it's a scallop shell, right?
Yep.
And it's got the mud there. You can see the mud in the middle of it, and it's, I would say, oceanic mud, right? And so, you know, I can't help myself. When I got questions, I want answers. So that's what I've been up to. And
you know what? A lot of times the answer is straight up. I mean, we really want to try and make sense of the distribution of errata that we find all over the surface that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But that's the uniformitarian education. The problem I have with that is that you just described a perfect scenario where a clump of seashells and fossils are only at one location. Why aren't they equally dispersed everywhere else? Well, now we have to look into the reports of William Corliss, of Charles Fort. 500 years of scientific reports of oceanic type stuff falling straight out of a blue sky.
Yep.
It's almost, I mean,
absolutely. I remember you talking about
as much evidence. Like when I was in, like, We have just as much evidence that there's an ocean above the sky as there is an ocean on the land. But even more so, how do we account for? Did you watch my Glen Rose video when I was showing the shells that were in the fresh water?
I did. I was there.
Yeah.
I was watching the live. I think you might have seen my comments. I don't know.
Believe it. I'm in the Paluxy River looking at gigantic petrified footprints.
Yeah.
And yet that's why everybody goes to the Paluxy River, Dinosaur National Park. But that's not what I'm looking at. When I'm in the river and I'm looking at all the river rock, I could not believe how many seashells were in the river, but they weren't on the land. I'm like, what's going on? And the seashells are colorful. They're not fossilized. They got
washed off pretty quick then, didn't they?
So why does fresh water have all these oyster and clam shells? I don't get it. So I collected a bunch of them for the video and I spread them all on a rock and I recorded it so you guys could see it. It doesn't make sense to me. Why is a river in the interior of Texas, we're hundreds and hundreds of miles away from the coast, have all these colored shells in this river water? I don't get it. Kind of makes you wonder if we don't have an ocean below us as well.
Well, I was putting a few things together on that, you see. I mean, I was thinking about it. And you know, like I've got this piece of it's not pumice, it's actually black obsidian, but it's totally aerated. Bugger, I'm going to have to go and get it. But it's crazy because I believe it came out of the one of the local volcanoes here. We've got a volcano in the Bay of Plenty called it's called Mere Island, actually. There's got a Maori name for it, but where did I put the dang thing? There it is. And over there, that big lump there is actually straight obsidian, but it's got lots of debris from probably being on top of the blast or something, right?
Wow.
But anyway, that was found in Taupo, right? But this one here, I've got heaps of rocks, man. I'm a bloody rock fiend. Yeah, it doesn't matter where I've been. I've been over Australia, Tasmania, and there's bloody piles of rocks everywhere. People can go and find them. It's like a gold mine. But anyway, this one here is black obsidian pumice. It's completely aerated. And the reason I believe is because when it blasted out, it landed in the ocean and it immediately became pumice-like, you know, it just immediately aerated. And in that moment, all the air just got bursted out of whatever holes, you know, when in the contact. I don't know how that process works exactly, but I sort of know. But so that piece there sort of told me that came out of a volcano, pretty hot, when it hit the water and turned into a bloody obsidian pumice object. When I found it, Jason, I was in Tairua, which is up the coast from the Bay of Plenty a bit, and I was with a mate fossicking around the rocks. You know, at that time I was what I call cowrie hunting, and I used to go looking for cowrie logs and, you know, make a bit of money on the side out of it. But so anyway, I was bloody walking along and I seen that thing there floating up and down in the water. It wasn't far off the bottom, but it was still about knee height off the bottom. And I said to me, mate, look at that crazy rock down there. And he goes, yeah. So I climbed down off the bloody rocks and into the ocean. It was about bloody up to my, just above my waist. And I took a breath and went down and grabbed it and brought it back up. And I've had it, 30 plus years now.
Wow.
But it's just amazing that I put that together with maybe a rock coming from Alaska out of a bloody seamount volcano, and landing just randomly in New Zealand in some location, right? And I've just stumbled across it, right? You know what I see?
I don't know, man. We got...
That's a possibility. I'm just talking randomly, really. But I am. What do you call it? Posturing, I suppose.
Well, you probably do have a bunch of submarine volcanoes in that area. But,
we do. We have a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if the research of that guy that put out 1871 cyclical deluges, remember the video I did on that? If this dude's theory is correct, then the entire southern hemisphere drains out about every 4,000 years when all the pressure of the equatorial bulge. The equatorial bulge is a ring. When all that pressure blows out from volcanoes, the equatorial bulge goes down in a period of hours, and the entire force and weight of the southern hemisphere's oceans just go over the bulge and flood the entire northern hemisphere. And then for another 4,000 years, everything's correct. But it's during that period that volcanoes are exploding everywhere, just ejecting matter all over the place. So
well, that's interesting that you say like that's the southern hemisphere that goes down and which forces the water into the northern hemisphere. But what I'd like to talk about, if just to not to contradict anything like that, but what happened in Wellington. In Wellington, in 1889, I think. There's two tsunamis that came from South America that hit New Zealand. One in 1877 and one in 89, I think. But let me explain. One of them was called the Hancock tsunami. Earthquake, actually. And the tsunami left South America, Chile, Hancock, that's where the place is. It's spelled L-I-Q-U-Q, oh, crikey.
That's all right. We're not going to know where it is anyway.
Yeah, but it's in the Chile. It's in. You can go into Google Google research. I do anyway, and there's what do you call it? Information about it. But apparently, when it left Chile, it took 15 hours to get to New Zealand. When it hit New Zealand at the base, it hit Chatham Islands first, because Chatham Islands are about 200 miles off the coast of New Zealand, out in the Pacific, right? So it hit there first, and it basically destroyed all the infrastructure around the coast. It just actually annihilated the place. But the first wave that came was a small wave. The second one was the major destruction. But the first one, when it hit, it actually came up into the settlement, and people were getting lapped around their beds by water. and so they got up and thought, shit, what the hell's going on? And then the tide just disappeared. But they could hear a roar. So they said, bugger this, and headed out. And they went up into the hills. And lucky for them, because I think only a few lost their lives.
Yeah,
but
the 1896, I don't know if this is the same event, but in 1896, an earthquake happened in the Tuscarora Deep in the Sea of Japan, and it sent a tsunami. It sent a tsunami in all different directions as well. And the Japanese people, I guess they weren't educated to what to do, because when the Pacific Ocean disappeared off the coast of Japan, people ran out there to go pick all the stranded animals up, all the sea life. They never made it back, because the 30,000 something people are estimated to have died, because that the Pacific Ocean came back 200 foot high at 400 miles per hour.
I know, it's pretty incredible. People don't realize that.
If I ever see the ocean disappearing, I believe me, I'm going as far inland as possible.
So what I'd like to say about what happened with Wellington is that about I don't know how many minutes prior that the wave hit Wellington Heads, but there was a earthquake here, and it happened in the Cook Strait, and it lifted the Cook Strait by 6 meters. It happened on the east side of Wellington Harbour, where East Coast bays were lifted up, and the water just ejected across the bloody bay and into Wellington Township. At that time, it wasn't a great city like today, but it was a township, and it swept all the infrastructure straight into the bloody sea.
I'm telling you, it's more common. It's more common than people realize. The west coast of Wales, there used to be a kingdom on the west coast of Wales.
Yes, we've been trying to bloody find out about that.
Yeah, it totally sank in an earthquake. Then we had on the west coast of India, there was a massive island out there with a full kingdom on it. It completely sank.
Exactly.
Davis Island in 1687 had 5,000 occupants, and it was on the maps. They had to rewrite the maps because Davis Island vanished, just like the stories of Atlantis. It just went beneath the sea. And you know, in my research, I show that the entire North African plate sank about 300 feet in an earthquake in 2239 BC, and it's what damaged the Sphinx. And then 340 years later, an earthquake.
That's why you got me on such a hot bloody trail, mate. I tell you.
It's crazy. Yeah. Dwarka. Thank you, sons of Sethites. Dwarka is the name of the underwater realm off the coast of India. I forgot the name of it.
I have to tell you, I can't see chat, Jason. So anybody who's watching me and knows me, and even anybody who doesn't really, I'm happy to be up here and talking with you.
Yeah, man, we're going to do it again, but I'm going to tell you now. We're going to do it again soon, but I'm going to have to let you go. I got one more.
I understand.
I got one more to talk to real quick, and 3 hours and 45 minutes I've been holding my bladder.
Right, I can imagine that. Okay, well, much love to you, bro, and thanks very much for having me up. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I like these late night ones, man. These are. I don't feel like there's any pressure on me to be anything but me. I like these late night ones.
Awesome. You take care, and I'm glad you've changed from coffee to tea.
Oh no, I still drink coffee. I like tea.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love the smell of coffee, but I can't drink it. But I love the smell of it. Whew.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, take care, bro.
Yeah, he's got some good energy. I hope he goes back and reads the chat because you guys like him. Silver Sage, what you trying to do coming back on my screen like this?
Well, I'm just hogging all your time, Jason. So,
yep.
Little guy's asleep. Right. But this is kind of a nice segue from your last commenter, and we bought some property up in Snowflake, Arizona, before property values went way up. And, you talk a lot about this red dust that I can't remember where it's cited, which books talk about the red dust, but it's really interesting.
Red dust, red rain, red mud. Yeah, all 1902 and 1903, it just bathed the entire world. I've even had geologists in Australia send me jars of it, and even send me printouts of chemical compositions, and they even told me in the paperwork. I even showed it on YouTube. The little jar, the jar of red dirt clods they sent me. They even said that they know for a fact it was 1902 because of the trash that was found in the debris, and they say that it was really unusual because it's super thick and it's got white stones dispersed with it. And they said this is absolute proof that the entire deposit of red earth they found in Australia was the year 1902 because of the distribution of the same pebbles that were found through all of it. It said it must have all fell at the exact same time.
Wow. Well, we have something else that's distributed over the whole property, miles up by Navajo County. And there's a place called the Black Mesa, and it's a whole mesa that's made out of like that black lava rock.
Yeah.
There's some
Obsidian.
Hopi, not obsidian. It's
Oh,
more like a lava,
you're talking about the porous black rock?
like a pumice. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a pumice. But then throughout the, it kind of looks like riverbeds that people have built their houses on.
Wow.
There's giant rocks that you can see the whole anatomy of the human body. Like there will be feet. Like people were just blown to pieces. And these things are giant. They're probably, twice the size of a human foot. There's heads, and they're all green. I have pictures of them. I'll have to send them to you in an email. But it's just fascinating. Like it's just a whole graveyard of where people just got obliterated. And
all of the western United States looks like it used to be the bottom of an ocean bed. All the weird terrain in New Mexico and Arizona. I filmed it. I've done several videos passing through where I've turned my camera in the van and just recorded the landscape. Yeah, there's the topography of western United States absolutely looks like it was an ocean bed.
Yeah. This is off of Concho Highway. So you go to Snowflake, Arizona, and then you would take that Concho Highway out towards towards New Mexico, basically. And north and south of it, it looks like there's a huge crater or maybe something rained from the sky. And they have just feet of this, it kind of looks like a hot cocoa mix, but it's cinnamon color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real cool. Anyways, I'll let you go,
at the exact same time you said hot cocoa mix, the one tuck said hot chocolate for me. I'll be down.
Well, it's been a blast being on this show, and I'd be interested in writing maybe a syllable or something with your staff or you and about homeschooling program, because that'd be pretty cool to put together something for the younger generation.
I do have a bunch of readers from the 1800s, and it's just finding the time. I mean, it took a lot of time to put together Archaix Underground. Now that it's going, I'm also in my cipher group. I got three major things in my life. I got the cipher group, which we're really active on date sequence predictive analytics software development, the cipher group, Archaix Underground, and YouTube. So I'm pretty busy, but we do have readers, just like we did the Archaix for Kids PDF that's got over 1,000 pages.
Yeah, I'd like to get a hold of that.
Okay, we got that, but we also have some readers. This is like 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade readers from the 1800s when they were really trying to educate kids. But
right.
Yeah, we're gonna PDF.
Well, I'd like to get a hold of that. How would I do that?
Oh, when we produce the PDF, you talking about the Archaix for Kids? Archaix for Kids is every one of my videos has a link to it. It's a download.
Okay. All right, that's cool. I'm starting a homeschooling group here.
You have to look in the description box.
Okay, I will do.
All right.
Yeah, I'm starting a homeschool group out here. So it'll be really cool to be able to share that with all the moms and parents who are homeschooling.
Hey, you need to get an Archaix Underground. Go check it out because we got all kinds of things going on in there like that.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, there's somebody put the link. Somebody put the link in the chat for Archaix for Kids.
Okay.
Yeah, those are like vintage 1800s kid stories, nursery rhymes, fairy tales.
Yeah, and if you're going through, do you take the 10 through Arizona?
I do not like interstate. I don't like Interstate 10 because I drive a huge van. And if you drive on 10, you got to go through 3 or 4 checkpoints, and I don't like them. I like taking the more scenic routes going north through Oklahoma, then halfway through Arizona, and then I'll hit 10 right before California.
Okay. So you've never been to Las Vegas before this Las Vegas trip?
What are you talking about?
Oh, you said that you were in Las Vegas the last time?
I've been to Las Vegas 4 times this year, but I flew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been
Okay.
flying in. I've been flying in and out.
I grew up there, and so my aunts managed the Horseshoe for a long time, and they have a big underground tunnel system in Las Vegas. It's pretty cool. It connects all of the hotels. And they had, this was 20, no, maybe 30, 40 years ago. I'm 46. They had a high-speed train that went underground, and this was like 30 years ago, that connected to the airport, to all the hotels. It was pretty cool to go. Yeah, you might want to check it out next time.
I didn't know that, but I do know this, Silver Sage. I'm about to cut you off because I am done. 4 hours tonight, I'm done.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure, sir.
It was great. I'll see you next time, about 2 weeks. I will be live with Mark Passio here in about a day and a half. So
all right, I'll try to get some pictures together for you.
Awesome. You got my email. I will talk to you guys later. Okay. Bye, Silver. Rest of you guys, I will talk to you later. It's been great. And I'm tired. Hell, I don't even need to use the bathroom anymore. I'm just tired. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'm going to hit this little intro, outro thing, and I'll talk to you later. Let's see. If you're not there yet, Crystal, Justin, I know you are. Who else, man? Who else am I going to call out? I don't know. I know Craig Sweeney's in there. I've been seeing all his posts. George Aldenor. If you're not in Archaix Underground, you're missing out. If you have any trouble trying to get in or access, let me know. I'll send you a link. One Tux. You got a 7-day free trial. You got no business not checking it out. Not of This World. Was that you that posted? No, it wasn't you that posted that. I appreciate somebody educating me. I put it on the screen. I did not know that we had freshwater mollusks. I didn't know that. Didn't even know. I thought they were all saltwater. Now I knew that they were at rivers when they opened up into the sea. But I didn't know that the interior of Texas, hundreds of miles away from the coast, would have mollusks. That's crazy. Didn't even know it. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later because I am gone. Anti-establishment historians tend to be an unpopular lot, and my own works will undoubtedly serve to reinforce this attitude by those who have published garbage adorned as history. It is my intent to make enemies, to topple their cherished pillars, to silence those charlatans who have sold their fictions off as facts. My mission is to educate those willing to know. I have no doubt I will lock horns with many along the way. The materials that I offer in my books are for those who are unafraid of the dark, who want the truth undiluted, direct. The ancient past, behind-the-scenes happenings throughout all time periods, censored histories, the academic cover-ups, real facts about race, religion, subversive societies, and even predictive systems of analysis by which future events can be known beforehand or uncovered and explained. Archaix is for the public domain to come to a place where they can receive information that has not been diluted. It has not been censored. You're not going to like some of the things you hear. Some of the many videos are going to tick you off. They're disturbing. The core things that we have been taught since we were introduced into this world have to be peeled back layer by layer by layer for us to fully comprehend the absolute medium of deception that we are totally immersed within. Our world is not what you think it is, but it is a beautiful place. It's all a matter of perception. But where we've been in the past in the collective, as a species, as a race, and where we have traveled in the past up until the present, in our personal lives, has everything to do with where we're going. One who is properly informed is not easily deceived. The fact that so much energy has been expended in covering up the truth about our past can only mean that, though we are blind to it, we must be such a threat to our controllers that burying the past was the only recourse they had in maintaining their power. Or, said another way, we are more than we suppose ourselves to be.